off the right mic over on the YouTube stream. Everyone, give me a minute. Welcome in to everybody tuning in on YouTube. It is so good to have you in here with us today. We're going to go ahead and hop straight into the debates with the Trump supporters for the day. In fact, we already have our first Trump supporter on the line, Mr. Dev down here. Mr. Dev, why don't you take it away? Spare not even a moment. Tell us why I should support like the crazy orange fascists in the Oval Office. Let's hear it.
Well, I won't ever tell you to support somebody if you truly don't believe that. I mean, you believe he's an orange fascist, so I mean that's your opinion, and I can't take that away from you.
Heavy on the orange.
He's definitely an orange man. I mean, that's just me being able to see a joke far away. That man is an orange motherfucker. Oh, can I say bad words?
You can say. You can. Well, okay. Tell us why you support him. Let's hear it.
I support him. I mean, so I served in the military, and I served under Biden. I served under Trump, and there was a lot of big differences that we saw in leadership. And when Trump came back, a lot of people noticed, especially on the military side, that things were a lot different. There was a lot of regulation changes recently within the military, so a lot of my opinion is based off of the military.
Can I ask you a question as a member of the American military?
Go ahead.
So you did take an oath to uphold the Constitution when you became a member of the American military. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Okay. As a member of the American military that took an oath to faithfully defend the American Constitution, what was your reaction in December of 2022 when Donald J. Trump called for the termination of the American Constitution?
I mean, as a military veteran, when you're in the service, you just kind of roll with the punches. You really don't got no say. Your leadership is your leadership. It doesn't matter if it's
Well,
Trump
you did
or
have a
Biden.
say not even 2 years later in 2024. Okay, you had a say if you wanted to give him the power to exist as a core branch, as a leader of a core branch of the federal
we have the
government.
option to pick. There's always going to be the vote.
So what was your reaction to Donald J. Trump calling for the termination of the Constitution in December of 22 as a member of the American military that's taken an oath to defend the Constitution?
Known the man, but somehow ended up to where he is now, which is about to be receiving a Nobel Peace Prize, possibly.
Can you answer my question?
Can I answer your question?
Literally, what was your reaction when he called for the termination of the Constitution?
You said what, it was 2022?
Yeah, December.
I don't think I have a recollection of that, so I'm not going to really pinpoint what my opinion was.
Okay, that's fair. But let me go ahead and tell you about a few other things, and let's get your live reaction now. So he's called for the termination of the Constitution in December of 2022. In 2020, he tried to steal the election from Biden, then admitted it in court. Okay. And so far in this term, he has violated the constitutional rights of many immigrants, including Venezuelan immigrants in northern Texas. The Supreme Court ruled he couldn't deport them under the Alien Enemies Act, which he was trying to do. He's violated the rights of Abrigo Garcia. The Supreme Court ruled his deportation of Abrigo Garcia was strictly illegal, violating his constitutional rights. He's attempted to violate the constitutional rights of many American citizens with his EO to overturn birthright citizenship for the children of undocumented migrants born in America. That was ruled on by a federal judge. And then 2 other circuit courts ruled his deportations of droves of Venezuelan undocumented migrants on planes to Venezuela as unconstitutional because he didn't grant them due process. So we see so many instances of Donald Trump discarding the American Constitution and even explicitly calling for his termination. How does this make you feel?
See, you're saying a lot of instances where he's signing off on something saying, okay, we're going to deport such and such based off of these such and such behaviors and characteristics, right? And then that goes to court. Courts decide, no, out of your jurisdiction, we're not going to have that. Well, that's the government and them doing their overreach part by not allowing him to overreach, because that is exactly what you're calling it.
So wait. Well, you think that SCOTUS is overreaching their power by?
You're gonna overreach at some point as a leader.
Wait. We think that SCOTUS is overreaching their power by telling Trump he can't violate the American Constitution?
No, I'm not saying they're overreaching. I said he's overreaching by making the jump to assume that he can have.
Did you know that he said that to an ABC News reporter that he doesn't even know if he has to uphold the Constitution?
No, he has to uphold the Constitution. I mean,
no,
like
he said that he doesn't know that. He said that he doesn't know if he does or not.
Well, I didn't know that. I mean, that sounds like somebody who watches ABC would know. I don't
That
watch
sounds like
ABC.
somebody who would like try to coup the outcome of a presidential election and install himself
I
as
mean,
the
there's been
president, like he did in
a lot of
2020.
coup going on. Have you paid attention to anything going on in this world?
Obviously, you didn't pay attention when Donald Trump tried to coup our federal government and steal the election from Biden in 2020.
I mean, yeah, he definitely tried to do a lot to save that election, get reelected. And I still to this day think 20 million votes came up out of the blue. So,
Oh,
I
so
mean,
you
we all have our opinion.
so do you think that Donald Trump was justified in trying to steal the election from Biden because Biden stole it from him
See,
first?
you're asking, do I think it's justifiable to say to a group of people, hey, meet here this specific time and
No, I'm not
maybe
talking about the
maybe
riots on the Capitol. I'm
insurrection?
talking about his fake electorate plot where he tried to steal the election from Biden by installing fake
I
votes
don't
for
think he
himself in
tried to steal
Congress.
the election. That's the thing, though.
He admitted to it.
No, he never really admitted to that.
Yes,
He
he
always
did.
said it was that he should have won the election.
No,
He
no, no.
never said
He
that
admitted to
was rigged.
installing alternative or fake slates of electorates in 7 key swing states that Biden won that he lost, and he also admitted to having them send fake votes back to Congress, and then he pressured Mike Pence into certifying those fake votes as real after
We're not
telling
going to
them
sit here and say that Joe Biden didn't do the exact same thing,
he
which
did.
was absolutely rigged the hell out of the election to get elected in 2020.
Okay, so that's my question. So you think that Donald Trump was justified in trying to steal the election from Biden because you think
I
Biden
mean, you
stole it
can't
from
steal
Trump
something
first?
back if somebody's already rigging it from you. You get what I'm saying?
So
I mean,
you
if it was already rigged from
so
the jump,
okay,
then
so then
it's
let's
not
talk
really
about like
stealing if the
you.
other person says you're stealing it.
So you think that Donald Trump was justified in installing fake votes for himself in Congress?
Installing, I mean, that we would have to then go to the other side and see what the Biden side did because, like I said,
I know,
in the
but
debate,
you've already told me what they did. You think they stole the election. So do you or do you not think that the Trump administration was justified in installing fake votes for himself in Congress to get reelected,
let me
even
ask you
though
this:
the
is that
vote?
written in fact? What
Yeah,
you're
he
saying?
admitted to this. Yeah.
If that's written in fact, and that's written in fact, and I can't, you know, I can't really make an argument on a fact. I mean, that happened.
So was
So
it a justified thing that he did? Was it a was it
if it,
is it was it a good thing
was it
that he did or a
justified
bad thing that he did?
to a degree? It was justified to him. To others, no.
Okay, well that's obviously not the question that I'm asking you. I'm asking it to you. Like obviously he's going to see
My
it as
opinion, I don't
justified.
have a straight opinion because I'm not extremely well versed on this specific topic that you are specifically trying to get me to answer to.
Okay, so assuming he did try to steal the election for Biden and install himself as a president, how would that make you feel?
If he tried to steal an election that I thought was rigged in the first place and he still lost, he should have tried harder.
So you actually think that Donald Trump should have tried harder to steal it from Biden? I actually consider you to be a very spineless traitor.
Spineless trailer.
Yeah, traitor. Because like you took an oath to uphold the Constitution, but then you say that Donald Trump should have fought harder to destroy the Constitution. And then on top of that, what's your evidence that Biden tried to steal the election from Trump in 2020?
Voter count based off of this year and last year and previous votes.
So because there's more people that voted in 2020, therefore those additional
It's the
votes on top of what was
significant
true this
amount
year
of people that
were
voted
fake.
versus the last election and the last election before that one.
So
If
if
you
if
do the number
if a coffee
calculation
shop,
after they like there's about a certain amount of people who are going to vote each election, which is about 60 to 70 million Americans are going to vote. That's a general number.
hey,
Around
one second. So can you please like show any evidence of the fake votes? Because if there truly was like 20
show
million fake
evidence? No,
votes,
do I look
where's
like
the
I'm
evidence?
sitting here like with a freaking textbook and a notebook on TikTok trying to prove a point?
So
No, I can't.
has there been
I've watched
has there
enough
been a
movies.
single court that has ruled that there's evidence of like Biden stealing it?
To your point, can't exactly testify or prove to that point. No.
So in other words, there's not evidence it was stolen, and you're a conspiracy theorist, and you're using your
Yes,
conspiracy
I am a
theory to
conspiracy
justify an
theorist.
attack on the
This
American
is definitely
Constitution.
100% coming from conspiracy. I definitely believe the election was rigged and stolen.
So you use a
100%. And
conspiracy
to call me
theory.
a spineless traitor is actually
I'll call you that
I'm
again.
simply debating. My orders, which are always going to be to uphold the Constitution and
But you're
uphold
actively
my-
not doing that. Wait 1 second, sir.
I have an opinion.
You're
allowed to have
actively
an
not doing
opinion,
that.
am I
You just told me verbatim that you are using conspiracy theory to justify your stance that Trump
No,
should have
my
fought
stance
hard.
on this stance. This
Hey,
stance is
don't not
like,
interrupt me. You are now going on mute. You just told us all that you are using conspiracy theory to justify your claim that Donald Trump should have fought harder to destroy the American Constitution. I like honestly, if I was president right now, I'd kick you out of the military.
I said he fought hard to. He should have fought harder to win. I mean, you're really kind of spinning it out like it's crazy. He should have fought harder to win.
Oh, so I
You
misinterpreted
spin
what
it
you
as
said.
if he should have fought harder to rig the
You
election.
cannot blame me.
Election was never rigged.
You cannot blame me for any misinterpretation that you're claiming because that was your response to my question. How do you feel about the fact that Donald Trump tried to steal the election from Biden? That was your response to said question.
Yeah, I think he should have tried fucking harder. That's as crazy
So
gonna. That's
you
not a
think that he
yes.
should have tried
Spineless
harder
trigger.
to steal it
I
from
think
Biden?
I think your point there.
Yeah, he got flagged for civic and election integrity. We're going to move on to the next guest. Oh, yeah. So basically, what we see being true of MAGA is they just don't care about the Constitution. I mean, we just had like a member of our military that took an oath to uphold the American Constitution say that, yeah, he should have fought harder to destroy it. He should have fought harder to kill it. He should have fought harder to terminate it. This is the best. I have a lot of evidence for fascism in America today. And I think this is one source of evidence that isn't talked about as much. It's just a fact that Donald Trump supporters are accepting it. Donald Trump supporters want it. Donald Trump supporters want to be trampled. Donald Trump supporters want to have a fascist dictatorial leader. Donald Trump supporters do not like the Constitution. And I'm so sick and tired of the lie that Republicans are patriotic. I'm so sick and tired of that lie. It is not true. It is simply false. It is fucking fictitious. It is a lie, 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 lie. But let's go ahead and move on to the next guest. If you are one of the 6,000 people watching this stream and you do support Trump, let me know. We'll get you up here for a discussion. We're just looking for a next Trump supporter to converse with at this point, y'all. Let's go and get that next guest, Griff, up in the box. It is just such a lie. Let me make this straight. If you still support Trump and you affirm similar answers that last guest did, you wish that Donald Trump would have fought harder to rig 2020, you're a spineless traitor, okay? That is an objective fact. When you look at the mirror in yourself, you should be calling yourself that. Start owning it, okay? It'll give you more of a spine than what you have right now. What is going on, Griff? How old are you?
18.
Nice. Do you support Trump?
I'm actually here to talk to you about that. So I've never really considered myself political, but I do find myself like rolling with the Republican Party on like the fiscal side. But when it comes to the Democratic side, I normally go there like socially.
Okay.
Like,
So do you support the current administration?
I would say so. Yeah.
All right. Well, before you tell us why, I got a couple people to thank, and I do apologize. Philip, thank you for the $3.33 over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love, Philip. As well as Megan, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo from 17 minutes ago. Show some love to Megan. And yes, Megan, I did see Biden's cancer diagnosis. That is so incredibly sad. So incredibly sad. I'd also like to thank Iris with the $10 over on PayPal, saying I watch you every day, and my dad is a huge Trump supporter, and I'm trying to convince him to debate you. Iris, if you do convince him to debate me, join the queue. I'll happily have a conversation with him. And then also Brianna with a $50 donation over on PayPal. Holy cow, Brianna. Everybody, I want to see 500 Brianna W's down below. That is BREANNA. That is so much fucking money. Thank you so much for the love, Brianna. Seriously, show some love to Brianna in that chat. Brianna says, always good to see you. Hope you're feeling better today than yesterday. Yeah, I'm feeling all right, Brianna, and I'm feeling even better now. Thank you so much for the love. Everybody, please show some love to Brianna down below in that chat right now. And if you are watching and you want to support me, you want to support the stream, support the studio, keep it running for 4 hours a day, you can do so through my Venmo, my PayPal, which is in the link tree of my bio on TikTok and in the pin message on my YouTube stream. Now, Griff, I do apologize. Take it away. Tell us why you support the current Trump administration. Let's hear it.
Well, first of all, I just want to apologize for like everybody that just comes here and immediately starts like bashing you. I think that's a horrible way to debate, and I just think it shows like huge disrespect on like your side, who comes on here and debates everybody. So I just wanted to say that.
Cool.
Well, anyways, do you know about the Tax Cuts and Job Act of 2017?
I am familiar with his first round of the TCJA. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that lowered. Sorry, I'm like a little bit nervous. I've never done it. It lowered corporate tax rates that helped stimulate business investments and like contributed to like really low unemployment rates.
I deny that.
You deny that?
Yeah, so we have a study from the financial institution by the name of Brookings that examined the years following the introduction of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that yielded the conclusion that it actually led to no new business investment. And we'd actually expect that out of reducing the corporate tax rate that incentivizes less business investment, actually. Think about it this way. If you bought 20 beers every Friday, okay, and you just kind of drank as much as you want, maybe one Friday you wanted to drink 10 and the other Friday you wanted to drink 5, but once you were done drinking, you could just keep all the leftover beers in your fridge. Well, imagine that like Dean Withers came to you and said, I'm now going to take 50% of all the beers that you don't drink every single Friday. Would you be incentivized to drink more or less beers?
Less.
You'd be incentivized to drink more beers because you'd want to give less to me, right?
In a way, yeah.
Right. It's just like a higher corporate tax rate basically says that about, the profits of a company, what they don't reinvest back in. With a higher corporate tax rate, it just incentivizes more reinvestment back into the company. So the company has to give less of its profits to the IRS. So that's why we saw that Brookings study indicate that there is no new macro level business reinvestment that resulted from Donald Trump's tax cuts.
Okay. That's actually a good point. I haven't heard that.
What's next?
And let's see. Deregulations?
Deregulation. I mean, Donald Trump is running on regulations right now with his tariffs, with his defunding universities for allowing students to protest, with his calling media organizations illegal, like advocating for states to have the ability to regulate a woman's access to health care, or advocating for himself to have the ability to regulate humans' constitutional rights. I think he wants more regulation. Also, not to mention, like Doge, isn't Doge a regulation of like expenditure from the federal government that he deems is unwise, even though he wants to spend significantly more than they'll ever be able to cut?
That's true. And then,
or like in 2017 when he actually implemented a regulation to restrict offshore oil drilling in the Gulf of Mexico.
But didn't Trump's administration roll back more than 2,000 regulations?
Regulations for what? I mean, tell me.
Well, I think they were aiming to like reduce government interference, and like I do believe it created a more business friendly environment. But also I do like see where deregulation could like lead to unsafe practices and stuff. But I do truly believe that its main what's the word, advocacy is to like boost economic growth within the United States and like help business thrive, which I find important to me.
Okay, well then why did we have negative GDP growth in the first financial quarter of 2025, one of the only countries on earth to experience negative GDP growth? Businesses would be better thriving and the economy would be better off if Kamala Harris was elected.
That's a good point. Okay. And then, so do you know how I said, how with the Republican Party, I normally remain there like fiscally, but with the Democrat, I'm there socially?
Yeah. So, I mean, what else do you support about the Trump administration?
I would say it definitely like, job creation.
Job creation.
Job creation under the Trump administration.
Okay. Well, like once again, I mean, if we have negative, I think we'd have more job creation if the GDP was growing, right?
That's how it would work. Yes.
Okay. Well, like once again, this is a point I just made. The first financial quarter of this year, we had negative GDP growth. We'd also have more job creation with further business investment into American manufacturing. That was booming all 4 years under the Biden-Harris administration. Since Donald Trump's inauguration, it's went stagnant.
I also have a question for you.
Okay.
There are some areas where I haven't necessarily done the proper research when it comes to the Republican Party. What would you say? Is there like, I guess, belief whenever it comes to like healthcare? Like, because that's always been, because under my knowledge, they do not advocate universal healthcare, correct?
So the wait, the Republicans?
Yes.
Yeah, they don't want universal healthcare.
I didn't hear what you said. Sorry.
Yeah, they don't want universal healthcare. Can you please inform me on like other things that you support about what they're doing?
I mean, my main three that I came to here to talk about was deregulation, job creation, and tax cuts.
Okay, do you feel like we sufficiently covered those topics?
I do, and I definitely feel like I have a new understanding on that.
Okay, all right. Well, man, I appreciate you for coming up, Griff, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Nah, of course, man. You too.
Cool. Take care. All right, guys, we're going to move on to the next guest. Honestly, I say let's just get a massive panel of some debates going. Let's try to do like a 1v5. How about that? It's been a while since we've done that. Yo, Connor, what's up? Are you MAGA? Connor's not here. Goodbye, Connor. Bite the bullet. Are you MAGA?
I am. Yes, I am.
Sweet. Joseph Gilmore, are you MAGA?
Yes.
Yes, you are MAGA. How old are you, Joseph?
I'll just turn 19.
19. What time is it?
Pardon?
What time is it? Yo, he's from Britain. He's from Britain. Okay, I guess it's just you. We tried to get a panel going, but we couldn't really get the panel. Bite the bullet. Why the hell are you MAGA? I mean, what the hell are we doing? Why do we still support this POS tyrant? Tell me. Take it away.
Well, we didn't have many options in the first place. The main reason that I actually wanted to come up here is to discuss a due process.
Oh, okay.
The due process, if you really break it all down, through 20 million immigrants, if a judge was to see one immigrant and establish one immigrant here in this country every 30 minutes, it would still take 48 years to see all those people.
I think I know where you're going with this, and this is going to be terrible for you. Continue speaking. Please, dig your own grave.
Dig my own grave.
Yes.
So there are only 71 judges that can do immigration. Am I wrong or am I right?
I don't know how many immigration judges there are. I
There
know
are
that Donald
70.
Trump has arrested a handful of them. Take it away. You know what? Actually, let me fill in the blanks for you. Tell me if I'm wrong here. Basically, what you're telling me is that if we gave every single undocumented migrant in America due process before deporting them, it'd simply take too goddamn long, okay? And therefore, you don't really see a whole lot of, bad about Donald Trump violating undocumented migrants' constitutional right to due process when deporting them because it's the only efficient way to get it done. Doing it legally is just simply unattainable.
It's impractical.
What the hell? Wait, bro, I'm so sorry. I gotta share this with the class. Oh my God. So I live in an HOA. And right behind me, you guys can't have it. You guys can't see it. I have a window right behind me. And on my window, I have soundproofing, okay? And this soundproofing, you can see from the outside of the window, and it's yellow. In fact, I'll just kind of show you guys a picture of what it looks like. And that's to keep my debates from leaking out of my window into the dog park that is maybe like 10 feet away. And the president of the HOA just sent me a text with a picture of it requesting me to take it down, and he said, quote unquote, looks ghetto.
Tint your windows.
What the fuck? Wait, whoa. I'm sorry. I had to share that with the viewers. Dude. What the hell? And I read over the homeowners agreement insofar as what I agreed to living here. And I haven't seen a single section of the homeowners agreement that says that the HOA can dictate what's inside of my house. They do have some control and say so over the exterior of the building, but they don't have a control and say so over the interior of the building. So I actually don't think that they have any legal right to request me to take that down. Now, the argument might be, well, they can have a control and say so over what is inside of the house if and only if it's visible from the exterior. Okay, basically classifying things that are visible from the exterior as existing of the exterior. Okay, but the issue with this argument is that, well, I have a window downstairs. You could see my fridge through that window. Does that mean my refrigerator is classified as an exterior fixment of the condo. I'm gonna debate this guy. I'm gonna debate him. I'm gonna fucking debate him. Guys, can my fridge be a part of the exterior of my house? I don't know. I'm probably gonna have to end up cooking the HOA. Let's go ahead and just move on to the next guest. I had to share that with y'all. Silly HOA. Oh, Jesus Christ. What's going on, Ploy? How old are you?
I love you.
Hey, I appreciate you for the love, Ploy. That is incredibly kind of you. Yeah, bring him up. Yeah, call him on speaker. So I was actually considering doing that. I'm not gonna lie. But there's just so many like problem areas. He could leak the name of my landlord. He could leak the address. He could say his name. He could say the name of the HOA. I was going to, but I don't think I'll be doing that. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Everyone, if you are in that queue, make sure that you're MAGA. That last guest, Bite the Bullet, did leave. Yo, Brenna, thank you so much for the $15 over on PayPal for the HOA fee. Thank you so much for the love, Brenna. That is incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much for the $15. Everybody, please do show some love to Brenna down below in that chat. If you're MAGA, let me know down below. We will get you up on the stream right now. We're going to go back to debating the Trump supporters, even though I was just about to debate the fucking HOA. Let's go ahead and see what that next guest has to say, everybody. Let's go ahead and see what that next guest has to say, y'all. Everyone, just do be patient. Let's go and get that next guest up in the box right now. If you're MAGA and you want to come up and debate, let me know down below in that chat. We'll get you up here. And if you are one of the 5.6 thousand people in the live right now, make sure that we are double tapping, spamming that comment section, and sharing. Everyone, just do kind of give us a minute. All right, where's the next guest at, y'all? Where's the next guest at? We can't find any Trump supporters. All right, what's going on, Reese? How old are you?
Hey, I'm 18.
You're 18. Okay, sweet. Are you MAGA?
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
Oh no, Reese. Why would you ever support President Trump? Tell me.
Probably because of Cookie King, Santa Cruz, and then Dylan Latham, Derb, Ethan Muth. Who else?
Fucking the brain rot. Get the fuck out of here. Moving on to the next guest, dude. Oh my god. We're gonna go to get that next guest up in the box literally right now, y'all. So everybody just do be patient, you guys. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 18.
18. What year were you born in?
2006.
Sweet. Monta, thank you for the $4 over on PayPal, saying ask your HOA if my fridge is also quote unquote ghetto. Yeah, I'm gonna flame him. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna flame that dude as soon as the stream ends. I'm gonna be going from 4 hours of debates on here to debate with the president of the HOA. Unfortunate for him, bad day to be HOA president. What month were you born in 06?
November. I was born November 1st.
Sweet man, yeah, you would be 18. So take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
Well, I just like him because, like, I think he's cool. Like, I don't know.
You think he's cool? I don't know if I've ever heard a worse reason to support him.
Yeah, I just
Like, I
he's
mean,
kinda-
I could definitely like refute that. I don't
like,
think
you know,
he's cool.
like I've been seeing like the like compilations of him on TikTok of him just saying the most out of pocket stuff, and I just
So
I don't know.
you support him because you think he's funny?
Yeah.
Okay, well then like go support him to start up his own like stand-up comedy night at like a local bar. Don't support him to like run the fucking country.
I guess so. I guess you're kind of right about that, but
Right. I think I am right.
also there's just like some things that I agree with him with, like, you know, I don't know. Yeah, like immigration and stuff.
Okay. What do you agree with him on relating to the topic of immigration? Let's hear it. I'll hear you out. Got the mic. Let us know.
I just
Oh, are you trolling?
I feel like there's too many people.
Are you trolling?
this-
Are
No,
you
I'm not
memeing?
I'm not trolling.
Then why are you laughing?
Because it's kind of funny. You're putting me on the spot. I know I'm supposed to be on the spot, but like I'm nervous because like I
mean,
watch your stuff.
You're definitely on the spot right now. Like I don't know if you could have said anything that would have put you more on the spot than saying that you support Trump because you think he's funny. You're definitely on the spot. That is a true claim.
I think
he's like it's kind of like he's a felon and he's like running the country, and I just think that's kind of like, you know.
Okay, I think that they are trolling. Yo, Revo, what's going on, man? Feel free to unmute that mic.
There we go. Thank you very much, sir.
Hey, what's going on, man? What time is it?
It is. I'm in the UK, but can I just make a point quickly before you kick me
I'm
off?
sorry, we are just looking to talk to individuals in America that do support Trump. Let's go and get that next guest up in here. Yo, Moria, thank you for the 200 Norwegian dollars over on YouTube Super Chat, saying congrats on 200K on YouTube subs. Love from Norway. Yo, let's go. We hit 200K on YouTube. That's crazy. I didn't even know. W200K. Holy shit. That's huge. Thank you so much for the love, Moria. That's incredibly kind of you. Huge shout out to Mariah. W200K. Thank you so much for the love, Mariah. That is awesome. I cannot believe that we hit 200K. Also, Michelle, thank you so much for the $1 over in Venmo. Oh my God, I didn't even see this. Karen with $100 over on Venmo. Oh my God, let's get 1,000 Karen W's down below in that chat. Karen says, hi, Dean. Just wanted to say I'm very proud of how far you've come. You've worked so hard to be where you're at now. I hope you have an amazing week. Karen, I hope you have an amazing week as well. That is so incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much for your insane levels of kindness and generosity. I would really appreciate it if everybody watching can please show some love to Karen in that chat. In fact, because Karen donated $100, you guys are going to see what I'm going to do. But before we do that, we're going to go to get that next guest up in the box. Huge shout out to Karen, though. Seriously, huge shout out to Karen, guys. Let's go and get that next guest up in here, y'all. If you're MAGA, let me know. We will get you up here. If you're MAGA, let me know. We will get you up here. What is going on, POTUS? Are you MAGA?
You have no idea what you're talking about, Dean.
Another troll, guys. Not looking for trolls. We are just really looking for, like, true American patriots. It's about Trump. Where are the true American patriots? They're obviously not here. Where are they? Where are they? They can't be found, quite frankly, honestly. Like, where the hell are they at, man? Where the hell are they? But here's what we're going to do for Karen, guys. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be great, quite frankly. Look at, boom. W Karen. That's right. W Karen. Where's that next guest at, y'all? All the Trump supporters are running scared, Chad. All the Trump supporters are running scared. They're nowhere to be found. Where are they at? If you're one of the 5.8 thousand people in the stream and you support the president, let me know. We'll get you up here for a debate. We're trying to get them right now. Huge W Karen. Huge W Karen. What's going on, Pete? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
And how old are you?
I'm 18.
What year were you born in?
2006.
2006. Do you have any connected Bluetooth devices like a car, speaker, headphones, AirPods, etc.?
Yes. Should I unconnect them?
Yeah, if you could disconnect those, that would be great. You forgot that it was... yeah, so you're 18, born 06. What month?
November.
November. Works out. So why do you support, like, the worst president of your lifetime? Like, please, man, let's hear it.
Well, mostly because of his economic plan.
Okay. All right. Tell us a little bit about Trump's economic plan and why you think it'll be a great success for America, even better than tax cuts for 100 million American workers and low and the middle class.
Okay. Well, it's built on cutting expenses and increasing revenue. And
wait. I have a
since
question.
capitalism is such a...
Wait, I have a question. I'm so sorry. There's a lot of people saying that this is like a middle schooler down below in the chat. Are you a man or a woman?
Okay, sorry. I'm a girl.
There you go.
And my
chat.
name is Pete on TikTok. That's not my real name. Sorry.
There you go. Chat.
My name.
Take it away.
My real name's Remy. Remington.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take it away.
Sorry about that. Oh man, I'm nervous. There's so many people watching this. Okay. Since it's built basically, from my understanding, solely on cutting expenses and increasing revenue, I don't see how that doesn't work out. And then, sorry, with the tariffs, I mean, I can already see the tariffs we've already seen are working to an extent because, like, foreign companies, some of the biggest companies have announced factories coming up in America, which creates, tax-paying companies. It creates jobs. It creates more American revenue. Like Hyundai, I believe, just put up just announced their first ever factory coming up in America because of the tariffs. And I just say that I know that it looks like things are getting worse, but when it comes to capitalism, from my understanding, all throughout history, it always has to get worse before it can get better economically, because it's like a self-feeding system and it has to restart on its own. You know what I mean? And I don't know if I'm making the best sense right now, but yeah.
Oh, that was so good. Okay, now time to prove you wrong. So you're saying that placing tariffs on Japan has incentivized Hyundai to move from Japan to America, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then when we released our tariffs on Japan, Hyundai would no longer have that incentivization, so no, they're not moving to America.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, sure. Companies that have said that they're now considering moving into America no longer have reason to make said consideration. And the reason that I would say that is because Donald Trump has paused his tariffs on essentially every country, and then he made it also that's Korean, not Japanese. My apologies. Insofar as relating to Hyundai. And then he was able to strike a trade deal with China. So actually, no, there is not going to be more companies moving into America that did not have production in America prior, because in order for them to do that, they would need to have confidence that the tariffs on them placed on them by Trump were confidently there to stay, because it costs billions of dollars and it takes 3 to 6 years to build new factories in America. And they obviously don't have that confidence, and that should be demonstrated to be certainly true based upon the fact that Donald Trump has now paused tariffs on all other countries. So it's just simply not going to happen. And then insofar as your second claim that things have to get worse before they could get better, that's also not true. I'd see no reason to believe that at all. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would say, first of all, with the tariffs, I'm not all that up to date on it, but from my understanding, pause would mean temporary. And second, when it comes to worse before it gets better, are you aware of the boom and bust theory?
Boom and bust theory. I'm probably not aware of what you mean when you say boom and bust theory.
Well, man, I wish I could explain it simply. I don't know. I can't really explain it better than this, and that's that the economy that is based around capitalism revolves around sorry, I'm just trying to get my thoughts together.
Yeah, I think we're all waiting, boom and bust theory. Let's hear it.
I don't know
Take
if
your
that's
time.
exactly the word.
Okay. Well,
Sorry.
let me know. Feel free to re-request if it comes back to you. I'll happily re-accept you. But I just don't simply think that you got it. What is going on, Kitty Sam? Do you support Trump? And they're not here. Where are the Trump supporters at? No, seriously, feel free to re-request if you figure out what you wanted to explain. I'll happily re-accept you. But just because you couldn't really get it out there in a couple minutes, I did remove you. But feel free seriously to re-request if you kind of do rediscover what you're referencing. We are going to go ahead and move on to the next guest at this point. Let me know in that chat if you're MAGA and you'd like to come up and have a conversation with me. We're really just looking for some Trump supporters. Sam, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. Let's see, 200 W Sam. Sam says, learn something new every day from you. Thanks. Keep doing what you're doing. I really appreciate you for your guidance, Sam, guys. Show some love to Sam down below, as well as Brian. Thank you for the $2 over on Venmo. That is incredibly kind. Jenna, what's going on? Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Okay, how old are you?
19.
19. What year were you born in?
2006.
What month?
February 17th.
I don't believe you. I'm sorry. I just don't believe you. I just don't believe you at all. Bro, why is it so hard to find Trump supporters? We're losing out on some good, high quality conversations. Isn't that right? What's going on that ECMN? Are you MAGA? And he's not even here, bro. Like, what the fuck? Get out of my stream. Get out of the stream. Oh my god. No Trump supporters, dude. Okay. All right, man. All right. Where they at? Where they at? We see Chris is in the chat saying that he's MAGA. This person literally has Obama as their profile picture. Worst troll ever.
Hello.
What's up, Chris? How old are you?
Yo.
What's going
I'm
on?
18.
18. What year are you born in, bro?
2006.
What month?
August.
Okay. All right. Hey, take it away. Tell us why you're MAGA.
I have a question.
Yeah, you could ask a question.
What flavor is your vape?
Well, I don't vape, but my anxiety pin is lavender and caramel. But thank you for the question.
Chamomile?
Caramel.
Chamomile?
No, caramel. So why do you support Trump?
Because of his tariffs.
Okay, why does his tariffs make you support him? I think that the tariffs have only hurt our country.
Because they're gonna hurt you in the short term, but do well for you in the long term.
Okay, so what is the long-term benefit of his tariffs going to be? Okay, well, that was a question that defeated him, made him leave. Honestly, I'm bored. I'm fucking bored. I didn't think I would really ever say that. I didn't think I would ever say that and mean it. I am bored. The Trump supporters' arguments have gotten so shit that I'm bored. Oh, the last guest was talking about a boom and a bust. All I did to defeat her to win the debate is to ask her what the hell she was talking about. Gagged! DW! Okay, she just didn't know what she was talking. This guest voted for Trump, supports him because of his tariffs. All that I got to do to defeat him is asking him to explain how they will yield long-term positive impact. Gag! Defeated! He left! You know what I mean? This is just terrible, man. I want a really good Trump supporter that is intellectually sound, that can debate, that is willing to come up here and destroy me, to hop in that queue, and I will get you up here. Where are you at? We are looking for that Trump supporter. Let's try to get Holden up in the stream. Kim! Thank you so much for the $50 super chat over on YouTube. Kim says, divorce be damned. I just can't give, I just can't stop giving you money. Dude, Kim, thank you so much for the $50 super chat over on YouTube. I still hope that everything's going well for you, Kim. Guys, please show some love to Kim. Not only for the $50 super chat, but also because Kim is going through a divorce. We all love you, Kim. We all love you. Thank you so much for your kindness. As well as Haley, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo, saying I'm scared of the way that you say caramel. Why? It's a correct pronunciation. Thank you for the love, Haley, with the $20. Show some love to Haley and Kim. That's Haley spelled Hiaailee. As well as Brian with the $2 over on Venmo. And then Sam, once again, for the $20. Thank you so much. Holden, what's going on? Are you MAGA?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so Holden, why the hell would you be MAGA? Why the fuck would you support the worst president of your life?
Well, his border policies, for one.
Okay, I'm not really a big fan of his border policy because nothing that he has is long-term or addresses and or fixes the root cause of undocumented entry into America. What are your thoughts?
Why do you say that? What do you mean by that?
I mean that he's never introduced or even said that he wants to introduce a bill to reduce undocumented entry into America in the long term, and everything that he has done has just been a band-aid on a bullet wound, since it hasn't been removing the incentive for undocumented entry. It hasn't addressed and or fixed the root cause of undocumented entry. It's more so just kind of been like a show of force, which doesn't really do much, very temporary.
I don't know. I would have to disagree. I mean, there were millions of immigrants coming in here. Every month, basically, there were probably hundreds of thousands crossing the border with the last president.
Yeah, now there's like 5 per year, right? Here, what about this? What is Donald Trump's long-term border solution to reduce undocumented entry?
You can't change it that quick.
Sorry, I was being hyperbolic. Like you were being hyperbolic.
No,
you said millions per month.
I didn't say per month. I said 100,000 per month, but
I mean, you did say
I said
millions at
no.
first, but you corrected yourself. So what is Donald
Yeah,
Trump's
it's all good.
solution to reduce undocumented entry in the long term?
To reduce his undocumented entry
In the long term, yeah. What is it?
I'm worried about short term right now.
Okay. Well, when we continue to worry about like short term, we don't actually fix anything. Like what is a root cause of undocumented entry into America?
I couldn't tell you.
It's the fact that the legal means of immigration are unattainable. They're too slow, they take too long, they're too expensive. Okay? Why has Donald Trump never tried to make the legal means of entry into America more attainable to reduce undocumented entry? Why has he continually perpetuated the terrible shit immigration policy that we have?
Why didn't the last administration
Because Donald Trump stopped them. Unironically, they actually tried to take a step in that direction by influencing the bipartisan border bill that would have further funded more judges for more courts on the border to expedite claims of residency, asylum, and citizenship. But then Donald Trump specifically told Republicans to shoot it down and to vote against it, so the Democrats didn't get a win.
So is that Donald Trump or is that the Republicans that didn't do that?
It's both. Because Donald Trump was the one that told them to vote it down, and then they were the ones that voted it down.
But if they can't even think for their own mind, isn't it them, not Donald Trump?
Well,
Donald Trump didn't have anything to do with that. It was the Republicans.
If Donald
that
Trump,
voted for
if
it.
Donald Trump held a golden nugget over Mitch McConnell's head and said, "I will give you this golden nugget worth $100,000 if you kill your family," and then Mitch McConnell turned around and killed
You
his
cannot
family,
make that argument.
would both Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump
That's a wild.
be
That's a
culpable
wild
for the death of
statement
Mitch
to make.
McConnell's family?
To kill his family, you would say that Donald Trump is able to convince Mitch McConnell to kill his family for $100,000.
I'm just saying, like, if Donald Trump somehow bribed Mitch McConnell to do that, and then Mitch McConnell did that, wouldn't we say that both Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump were culpable?
What? How is that your counter statement to that?
Because it demonstrates that although it is the Republicans in Congress that torpedoed it, because the only reason they torpedoed it was by the specific request of Trump, that makes both the Republicans and Trump culpable. Like, think about it this way. It's illegal to tell somebody to unalive themselves. Do you agree with that law?
No. Not at all.
Okay, more so if you do tell somebody to unalive themselves, and they do unalive themselves, like, you could be held, like, criminally responsible. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that part of it.
Okay. Why would you agree with saying that if somebody tells somebody to self-unalive and they do self-unalive, that they should be held culpable? But if Donald Trump tells the Republicans in Congress to torpedo the bipartisan border bill, and they do torpedo the bipartisan border bill, he
Because
should
you
be
have
culpable.
to, if you're in Congress, you need to be able to form a thought from yourself.
What?
You can't just listen to what somebody else says. You need to be able to form
Sure.
your own
I
opinion.
mean, I agree with this, and that's a really good critique to use against the Republicans that listen to him. Okay, that does show that they are somewhat like culpable for their own actions. I agree, but my argument is that although they're responsible, so is Trump.
All right, can I ask you another question?
No, I want you to agree or disagree.
To
here.
veer off a little now, I
No,
kind
you
of
can't
joined to
veer
ask
off.
this, but it's
You-
not.
I'm not going to allow you to veer off. Could we agree here that following this logic, Donald Trump would also be partially responsible for the Republicans in Congress torpedoing the bipartisan border bill?
No, I don't.
If Donald Trump directed Congress to pass a new constitutional amendment to allow for slavery, and they did, would Donald Trump be partially responsible for slavery?
That's a crazy statement to make.
If Donald Trump directed Congress to pass a new tax policy, and they did, would he be partially responsible for that new tax policy?
No, Congress would be.
So Donald Trump wasn't responsible for the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act influencing it passed in his first administration?
No.
So presidents are never responsible for any policy passed through Congress ever?
I mean, they influence it,
And they influence it by requesting it of Congress and signing it into law.
but they aren't the reason for it. Congress is the reason.
So if Donald Trump told Congress to pass a constitutional amendment to allow for slavery, and they did, would you hold Donald Trump responsible for that whatsoever?
No.
Okay.
He influenced it.
So like oh!
He's not accountable for it.
Wait, we wouldn't say that he's accountable for what he influences? So I just want to wait.
But
Hold it.
you're
Wait,
saying
if I
you're talking
so there's
about this
6,000
when he
people.
wasn't even president.
If there's 6,000 people watching this live right now, if I told everybody watching this live
5.9.
right now, Well, I mean, if you want to be specific, it's actually
I was
closer to
joking.
8,000 because of the 2,000 over on the YouTube stream. If I told everybody to watching the live right now, by the way, don't actually do this for the viewers, to dox you, find where you live, find the names of your family members, find your parents,
What?
and blast your information all over the internet, do you think that I would be accountable for that if, like,
Oh
that got
yeah,
you killed?
definitely.
Wait, why? Because
What?
I wasn't the one that did it. Although I influenced their actions, I shouldn't be accountable for that.
Why would you just say that?
Because I'm applying your logic
That's a
to a
crazy
scenario where
thing
it's
to
like
say.
obviously the case that I'd be doing something wrong.
No, that's wild to say.
I mean, well, it's wild to say, and it disproves your view that Donald Trump is not responsible for the bipartisan border bill getting torpedoed.
No, that's actually crazy that you just said that. I don't care about anything else. That's fucking wild.
Yeah, it's the use of it's the effective use of the deploying of an analogy. Yeah, it's called making a point, Mr. Holden, and I think I made the point. Obviously, you'd have to say that I'd be responsible in that scenario, right? Just like logically speaking, this would imply that if you're responsible things that you influence by telling others to make particular actions, therefore Donald Trump is partially responsible for the bipartisan border bill getting torpedoed. Oh, he just left. Goodbye. Moving on to the next guest. Everyone just give us a minute to get that next guest up in the live, y'all. Let's go get that next debate underway. If you're watching the stream and you like what you see and you'd like to support me, you can support me over on Venmo and PayPal, which is on the top of the phone screen right there. I get 100% of the proceeds on those platforms. They will go straight to me, not to TikTok or YouTube. If you're watching over on YouTube and you'd like to support me, you could also support me through Venmo and PayPal, because I think that YouTube takes around 30 to 60% of all super chats. And speaking of, Sid, thank you for the $100 over on YouTube super chat. Oh my God. W Sid down below that chat for the $100 YouTube super chat. Everybody show some love to Sid down below in that chat. Literally right now, that is SYD. Sid says hi. Yeah, I love Sunday Dean streams. Sid, that's so incredibly kind of you. Thank you for the $100. I hope that you're doing well. Huge shout out to Sid. That is literally so kind of you. I do not deserve that at all. That is so much fucking money. Show some love to Sid down below right now, as well as to Elf for the $20 over on YouTube super chat. Thank you for the love. I live in a border state. In a border state, undocumented migrants pay $59 billion per year in federal taxes, paying for Social Security they'll never receive. His border policy is devastating my state's economy. Sad how uneducated most are. I couldn't agree with you more, Elf. Huge shout out to Elf as well as Sid. And what is going on, Els? Do you support Trump?
So I am not I'm not MAGA, but I am a Trump supporter.
So that's what MAGA means.
Well, yes and no. At least from my viewpoint. Feel free to tell me I'm wrong. But so the reason why I support Trump is because he's a disruptor, right? I'm a citizen concerned with how legislation doesn't support the people. It just revolves around corporate interests. And for the last, I don't know, 30, 40 years.
So you hate the corporatocracy, so you vote for the corporatocracy. You're like, wow. I really hated
I see your point.
how
I see your
Kamala
point.
Harris's 25% corporate tax rate supported corporate interests. Therefore, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump's 15% corporate tax rate. I really hate how Kamala Harris's tax cuts for 100 million American workers and the low and the middle class wasn't as pro people as I wanted it to be. So therefore, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump and his economic policy, who's actually taking money away from everybody making under $395,000 per year. Like this is like saying
you're right, and
that
there are
you want to get married, therefore you're going to break up with your girlfriend. You're really cold, therefore you're going to strip naked and take an ice bath.
Okay, well, so going back to what you're saying about Kamala Harris. So you're right in the sense that there have been a lot of cases where Donald Trump has supported corporations, but I feel that his motivations are more personal rather than institutional. Versus Kamala's, her motivations are very institutional, right? She's part of the institution. I think a lot of MAGA supporters think that or feel that, and quite put it into words. But Donald Trump, his instability offers a small chance of rupturing the problems with the system, right? So like looking at any of the legislation that has passed over the last 20 years that have just been for the benefit of the people by
everything that you've
Congress.
said right now has made absolutely zero sense. It's been incoherent gibberish. I'm going to be honest with you. That is me being honest with you. Your response right there was completely incoherent.
the idea that the instability may cause reform in the system, that Donald Trump is,
Oh, did Hitler's
you know,
instability cause reform in the system of Germany?
it in the wrong ways. But I mean, there are cases in history where that did happen, right?
In the wrong
so
ways? Wait, I mean, now Germany is a democracy. Under Hitler, there was a dictatorship.
specifically Germany, but like for example, and so I pulled up these
So,
examples.
would you have supported Hitler?
Andrew Jackson, the U.S. banking elite. He was a populist war hero.
Can you answer my question?
Go ahead.
Would you support
What was your
Hitler?
question?
Because
No.
his tyrannical rule caused. Wait, why? His tyrannical rule caused instability, then ultimately the fall of Nazi Germany. And what was born out of the fall of Nazi Germany was a more moral state.
Um, uh, there are certain limits to which I think that I would.
Is like supporting ethnic cleansing and genocide a limit? Because Donald Trump does that too. Or like is fascism
But
a limit?
Kamala would've-
Because Donald Trump is a fascist. Is violating the human rights of 66 million American women by overturning the right to access abortion back down to the state limit, because that's something that Donald Trump is doing. I mean,
It is, but I don't see that it would. I feel as if the Democratic Party wouldn't have done anything about
Kamala
that
Harris
either.
literally ran on codifying federal protections for every American woman and girl's right to choose. Stop lying.
Okay. Well, how about for example,
so she would have done something about it.
okay. All right, I'll give you that. She
Okay,
would have done
so then you
something
don't
about
support
particularly
Trump.
I think that he would have been the better choice out of two bad choices.
So 66 million human rights violations over 0 million human rights violations as it relates to American women and girls' access to abortion. Why? Why is that the better choice?
I don't support that. Most of his policies I don't support, but there is hope in that.
Okay. So what is the
okay.
overwhelming good that Donald Trump will do to outweigh the fact that he props up and supports 66 million American women and girls' human rights violations?
Well, I think it's not necessarily that what he would do. I don't think he's done anything yet so far, but I think that if Kamala would have been in office, right, I think she would have continued the same process that would have continued the last however many years.
Okay, so
People would have been
specifically,
okay
what
with
did
it.
Kamala
And
Harris want to
that's
do? Specifically, what did Kamala Harris want to do that Donald Trump does not want to do? That shows Kamala Harris is worse than Donald Trump's 66 million American women and girls human rights violation.
well, it's not specific what Kamala Harris would do, but like for example, the fact that every legislation that's been written isn't even written by the people who
Wait. If
are
it's,
in
so
office.
you just said it was about what
It's
Kamala Harris wanted to do. You said that Kamala Harris would have been
it's
worse
about
than
what
Trump.
her party and what they would have done together.
Wait, how is the left worse than MAGA?
Because they're all just corporations. They're all just supported by corporations.
Who
None of
supports
them-
corporations more, the left or MAGA?
I think right now it's probably equal.
No,
I'm
it's
not
not.
sure, to be
That's
honest.
objectively fucking false. Donald Trump
Okay.
ran on $4 trillion worth of tax cuts for the ultra wealthy and corporations. What was the monetary value of the tax cuts that Kamala Harris ran on for the ultra wealthy and corporations? Negative $1.2 trillion over the next 10 years. She literally wanted to take money away from corporations. Donald Trump wanted to give them $4 trillion. What are you yapping about?
So that's the taxes, right? But I mean, like there are times when Kamala Harris has
So
done
can we
things
objectively
for-
say that MAGA is more pro-corporation than the left?
Okay, for now.
Okay,
now,
so then why do
right?
you support MAGA if you're anti-corporation if you just admitted that they're more
I don't support
corporation than
and
the
that's what I
left?
said earlier. I don't support MAGA. I support the idea that Trump is crazy, right? And there is a chance that he
Wait,
may
if you don't
something.
support MAGA, then that means you don't support Trump.
No, not necessarily. I don't support. I like the idea that there is a chance that somebody who isn't institutionalized may do something that ends up being good by
What is he gonna do?
disrupting the current.
What is he gonna do?
Like, for example, the talks with Israel, and he pissed them off a few days ago, talking to Saudi Arabia behind their back. Yes, Obama did do that, right? But like he did it out of the blue. He's not thinking. Trump doesn't. He's not he's not a smart guy. I think that he does a lot of coke.
So you're gonna take an administration that supports no humanitarian aid to Palestine and wants to personally help Israel steal the Gaza Strip from the Palestinians and ethnically cleanse the 1.2 million people living on it because they slightly pissed Israel off when they talked about one of their secretaries?
I mean, the Democratic Party would have done the same thing. They just would have put a smiley face on it, right?
So
They
that's
would have
objectively not
continued
true. I want to clarify that that's objectively not true.
for the past like 50 years.
Biden and
they've
Harris
been-
were obviously fucking pro-Israel, but significantly less pro-Israel than Trump. And if you care about human rights violations,
Biden-
why don't you care
Biden-
about the fact that he lifted sanctions on Syria when they're committing a genocide on Yemen? Why don't you care about the 66 million American women and girls that are actively having their human rights violated because Donald Trump overturned Roe v. Wade and sent it back to the state? Why do you only claim to care about the human rights of Palestinians, even though it is your president, the person you support, the person that you voted for, that is actively worse for Palestinians than Kamala Harris would have been, even though she is admittedly incredibly pro-Israel? He just happens to be more pro-Israel.
I don't see how because Trump can't be. He is random. He just doesn't. You don't really know what he's going to do. And I think that there's a better chance with that randomness than somebody who's going to be, like all of this.
So tell me, what is he going to do that's good? Tell me.
Change how. I'm hoping, right? I'm hoping that there's a chance that he may change how corporations have to approach the legislation process.
Yeah,
I'm
he wants
hoping
to make
that
it
he
more
would-
unrestricted, and he wants to give them more power. He wants to suppress the labor force and empower the corporations. That is literally what his economic policy does. It takes money from the poor and gives it to the rich. Those are two tenets of fascism, by the way.
Mhm.
So how can you claim to be anti-corporation, anti-fascist, but then support a president that is proactively pro-corporate greed and pro-fascism?
So I don't. I think that he's. It's
Is
not
Don-
necessarily
is Donald
that he's
Trump a fascist?
pro-corporate. I think that I wouldn't. I'm not sure.
Name one
I'm
tenet of
not sure.
fascism that he does not fulfill.
He isn't. I don't know. Actually, I have to look up exactly what the tenets of fascism are.
For sure. The
to
first is
answer
powerful and continuing nationalism. The second is a disdain for human rights. The third is an identification of enemies as a unifying cause. The fourth is supremacy of the military. The fifth is rampant sexism. The sixth is controlled mass media. The seventh is obsession with national security. The eighth is religion and corporate and government intertwined. The ninth is corporate power protected. The 10th is labor power suppressed. The 11th is disdain for intellectuals and the arts. The 12th is obsession with crime and punishment. The 13th is rampant cronyism and corruption. And the 14th is fraudulent elections. Name one of these
Well,
tenets
sure.
that he does not fulfill.
Loose may be the first one. I don't think that
Powerful
he
and
is.
continuing
he does
nationalism?
purport. He does support it, but I don't think he is a nationalist. I don't think he cares about. I think he cares about his own personal interests.
What does MAGA stand for?
but Make America Great Again. I understand, but I mean that's what he runs under. Like for example, comparatively, like Hitler, for example, he truly
ran
did
on-
believe.
So he ran on what?
Agreed. I see your point. I'm in agreement with you, but I think like Hitler, for example, did
Okay, I'm kicking you. What's going on, John? And welcome back, Bite the Bullet.
Thank you.
All right. Doesn't look like John's here. Bite the Bullet. Why did you leave earlier?
I have no idea what happened. I guess I swiped my screen, but I'm back.
Oh, okay. Do you happen to have any like,
Surprised I made it
Bluetooth
back up
device
here
connected?
again. Right. Yeah, I'm on Wi-Fi now, so
Do you have like a Bluetooth device connected?
I do.
Okay. Do you mind disconnecting that just so your audio quality could be a little bit better?
Sure.
Sweet. While you're doing that, Josh, thank you for the $5 over on YouTube Super Chat. I really do appreciate you so much for the love. As well as Brianna. Thank you for the $20 over on PayPal. Shout out Brianna. That is BREANNA. Everybody, show some love to Brianna. Brianna says, do you have a video posted of you going through the 14 characteristics of fascism, how Trump fits each of those? That got lost in one of my streams. I meant to post it. I should go back and try to find that. That'd be really cool. Good question, as well as I appreciate the $20, Brianna. All right, welcome back in, John.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing all right. You got a little bit of lag, man. You got a little bit of lag.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, well, you're a little bit better now. So Bite the Bullet and John, take it away. Why are you guys MAGA?
Well, I'm MAGA because we needed something different in our country. I'm 40 years old. I have been through presidencies, Bill Clinton and Obama. Everything is the same between all the politicians, and Trump is just different.
Okay.
He's not a politician.
So how is he relevantly
He's-
different from Harris that makes him better?
Okay, but he just things to be more logical. He's just First of all, whenever Hillary tried to get him to lie in front of the whole people, and he came out with the truth about lying on his taxes.
Wait.
I mean-
Wait. Is raping a woman logical? Is like trying to steal an election, proposing the largest internal threat since the American Civil War in 2020. Is that logical? Is advocating for economic reform that will redistribute wealth from the poor to the rich logical? Is committing 34 felonies, then saying that you're tough on crime, and then calling DJ Rodriguez, who tried to kill a cop by driving a stun gun into his neck, pardoning him, letting him out of jail? Is that logical? It's like,
Is allowing 20 million
is
immigrants
this logical?
over the border logical?
Sure, pivot to Biden. That's what you do every single time. How did Biden allow 20 million undocumented immigrants in America?
Well, how about, is it logical for Kamala to lock a mother in jail because her daughter missed 22 days of school due to cancer treatments?
I have a question. What happened to that mother when the court had determined that the reason the child was delinquent was because of medical related issues?
You're asking what happened?
Yeah, what happened to the mother when the court had determined through due process that the reason the child was delinquent was because she was in the hospital for sickle cell anemia?
So they should have figured that out before they ever arrested the woman.
So that's just simply not how due process works. I don't know what to tell you. But I mean, hey, if giving a mother due process is the worst thing Kamala Harris has ever done, I don't think that fucking really compares to Donald Trump, like, I don't know, illegally deporting Abrigo Garcia and sending him to a prison for terrorists. I don't know, trying to steal an election from Biden, letting cop beaters that were that pled guilty to beating cops out of jail, calling them patriots, who raped Jean Carroll, sexualized a 10-year-old, boasted about walking into the changing rooms of half-naked teenage girls.
I know that we need something different in this country because everything that's happened over the past 40 years, nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. Donald Trump.
So nothing changed under his first term?
Yeah, things did change. I actually did not. I did not vote for him the first time.
But you just told me that we haven't had any change in the last 40 years. What was his first term in the last 40 years?
That's a long time, first of all. It's a long time being around, and a lot of people changing laws and stuff like that. But the first time of his presidency, I would not vote for him. I refused to. But then he stood up and he did what was right. He changed a lot of things.
Okay, what did he do in his first term that you're a huge fan of?
Oh gosh, I actually do not have any examples.
Great.
But
so then tell me what change has he introduced into America that's been a good thing?
Well, first of all, he made IVF legal for, how could I word this? For insurances to cover IVF. Instead of like everybody talking about abortions, they really put this big cloud over Trump about abortions. He's going to make abortions illegal and stuff like that. But instead of doing that, when he got into office, he made it sure that insurances will have to pay for IVF.
Sure. When did he do that?
Within the first couple of days that he was in office.
So it was an executive order. What executive order was it?
I don't know the number, dude.
Let's see what it is. This is coming from the White House. So the order directs policy recommendations to protect IVF access and aggressively reduce out-of-pocket and healthcare plans for such treatments. The recommendation will focus on how to ensure reliable access to IVF. Let's see. So it doesn't really look like there's anything in here to force insurance companies to pay for IVF. Like, I mean, literally the only thing that it says is this order directs policy recommendations to protect IVF access.
Right.
So it was like, please,
Everybody's insurance policies are different.
he just kind of went to insurance companies and he's like, please reduce how much you're making them pay, please. A recommendation. That's nice.
Well, no,
I gotta ask real quick. Are you
point that I'm
pro-life?
trying to make here.
I
Dean,
gotta ask. So you care
everyone
about
put a
women's
dark
rights, right?
Everyone put a dark cloud over Trump about abortions.
Yeah, I still do.
This is this is what I'm trying to, the point that I'm trying to make. Everybody wants to put a dark cloud over him over abortions, and he did the complete opposite whenever he got into office.
So yeah, the reason I completely condemn Donald Trump is because he's directly responsible for the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade, sending every single American woman and girl's access to abortion to be determined by the legislators of their states. The outcome of that actionable move has been that in 10 of our 50 states, even victims of rape that are impregnated can't have access to resources. That accounts for 60 individuals per day, as well as 1 out of every 3 women of reproductive age in America no longer have elective access to services. And I see every single one of those circumstances as a human rights violation. So of course I'm going to condemn
I
Donald
am
Trump for
pro-choice.
this.
I am also pro-choice. So there's a woman, well, girl, in Georgia that's 30 years old. She had a brain aneurysm. She died, but they are keeping her body alive because she was 9 weeks pregnant at the time. So now they are literally keeping a brain dead woman alive just so that she can carry this baby to term.
Yeah, because of Georgia's
Because
heartbeat
of the
law. The only
abortion.
reason why that law is the only reason why that law is not unconstitutional is because Donald Trump directed the Supreme Court to reverse Roe v. Wade. You voted for that. You caused that.
He handed it over to the states.
Right. And I think that was one of the worst decisions that our government has ever made. And Donald Trump is directly responsible for it.
Okay, so another thing that Susan B. Anthony, he actually, to clear her name, he pardoned her on all the charges that she had got.
Okay, well, I don't know who Susan B. Anthony is, nor do I know how this relates to my claims about how he is detrimental for women's rights and is directly culpable and responsible for
That is
66
exactly
million human
Susan
rights
B. Anthony
violations
is
amongst women in America today.
Okay, well, if you don't know who Susan B. Anthony is, you might want to Google it real quick because she is the person that did the civil rights movement. She is the person who started it. She was arrested, thrown in jail, and Trump just pardoned her. Even though she's gone, at least her name is cleared.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said pardon, so I thought it was a Susan B. Anthony that was still alive.
It's the fact.
I'm sorry. Like I want to clarify. Like I'm familiar with like Susan B. Anthony, like the historical figure. but I thought like obviously like wow, okay. No, like the reason I said I don't know who Susan B. Anthony is because you just said that he pardoned them and you're acting as if this was some great fucking success.
No, I said that she's passed away.
Wait.
He's cleared her name. She's not deemed a criminal.
So I just want to clarify that like Donald Trump can engage in actions that violate the human rights of 66 million American women and girls. Okay, he could directly cause 60 rape victims who got pregnant as a result of their rape to be denied access to abortion in 10 of our 50 states. And all of this is wiped away. He's cleansed of his sins for pardoning Susan B. Anthony, who passed away quite a while ago. And that's insane.
That's about women's rights, though. It's about you were saying women's rights, and you think he's fascist and everything else.
Okay, but how? So
he's pardoning a woman who everyone.
Wait. Do you think that this makes him like a
fighting for our
so
rights?
Do you think that him pardoning Susan B. Anthony would describe like a net win for women's rights, even though he's actively infringing upon the human rights of 66 million American women and girls?
No, it does let me know that he has the knowledge of how the civil rights were for the females. But now as for abortions and stuff like that.
So he's acting, you understand that like now, like people's grandchildren, granddaughters now have less rights than their grandmothers had. Like you understand that, right?
I don't even know why he brought that in. Do you know why Trump decided to bring Roe v. Wade back into a case?
Dude, I don't know, but the fact is that he did that.
I don't
That's
either.
66 million human rights violations. What is worse
And
than
that is
that?
one thing that I could disagree with Trump.
Okay, but that's a really fucking big thing. What's bigger? What did Kamala Harris want to do to America that would have been worse than 66 million human rights violations?
Violating our Second Amendment right. She's actually violated she's violated women's rights already.
Out of the
when
last
she
two
had
administrations.
she went to a producer and gave them a list of names and told the producer to not publish any of their books.
So I want to clarify, out of the last two presidential administrations, what is the only administration that passed unconstitutional gun reform?
I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Trump. Out of the last two administrations, what is the only administration to pass unconstitutional gun reform?
You know what? None of them.
Yeah, no, actually wrong. Trump passed a bump stock ban. Then the Supreme Court said, hey man, that's unconstitutional.
You know, I hear it's like the same thing.
Also, why do guns have more rights than women? What the fuck?
Every single election, it's always the same things that's mentioned. All the changes that we need. Next election, be prepared to have the whole abortion discussion thing all over again.
Yeah, because you decided to vote against
The
Kamala
Second
Harris,
Amendment right
who
all
ran
over.
on
Have that
who ran on
discussion.
passing federal legislation to protect all women and girls' access. You are perpetuating the issue. The issue that you're pointing out right now is an issue that you are partially responsible for causing by voting for Trump, voting against Kamala Harris. This discussion would not be held in 4 years if Kamala Harris ran and won and passed federal
You don't
policy
get what I'm
to protect
saying.
women and girls' access. Also, real quick, I just really got to think.
No.
Okay, God.
So this has been discussion for the past 40 years.
I
Every
know,
time
I
there's an
know. And then we
election-
finally had somebody who ran on fixing it.
Who?
Kamala Harris.
That woman had lied so many times. She has lied and lied and lied. I don't trust her at all.
What is Kamala Harris's biggest lie?
I need some notes when I come up here and talk to you, Dean. I don't know. But
Name
she has
a
lied.
lie. Name
I've got,
a lie.
I've got many videos. A lot of my videos are not public.
Name a lie Kamala Harris told.
I'd have to go into my own videos, but that would make me leave the lie.
So I want to clarify. You cannot name a lie that Kamala Harris told.
Not at this moment. But that's why it's in a video.
Donald Trump lied about the outcome of the 2020 election and has been lying about the outcome of the 2020 election ever since. He convinced
Really?
70% of Republicans
No, I don't think that
to have virtues
he lied
of
about
distrust.
that.
Oh, so you think that Biden stole 2020? See, the only difference is
There
that
was
you
20
believe his
million
lies.
extra votes. So whenever
So
you
that,
look at
okay,
the-
wait.
when
If
you
there's
look at
20
the
million,
elections-
wait, real quick. If there's 20 million extra votes, give me evidence that one of them was fraudulent.
I'm sorry?
If there's 20 million extra votes, give me evidence that one of them was fraudulent.
Well, if you look over the past years, every 4 years, there's a certain amount of population that goes in
You're not
votes.
answering my question.
Because your question is almost impossible to answer
So basically,
without understanding what I'm
it's
trying
impossible for you to give evidence of widespread voter fraud.
to say. Let me finish what I'm saying. and
Actually,
you
I
might-
can't. I gotta kick you now because that violates the civic and electoral integrity violation of TikTok terms of service. If I get another one of those, the stream's gonna get banned. Any last words?
I don't understand why you want to discuss. You asked me a question, and then you tell me you're going to throw me off for it.
It's because it's a violation of TikTok TOS. If you want, we could just try to move on to a different topic. But like
Sure.
that was a lie that you've just fallen victim to. So and then also not to mention that Donald Trump told 30,000 confirmed lies during his first term alone. He's lied
It was
about
just
windmills causing
information that I was
cancer.
given.
He's lied about being Michigan's Man of the Year. This term, he lied about Abrego Garcia's deportation being legal. Continues to lie.
But he knows he's making certain changes to make the country great again. We are not doing
Oh,
good in this country.
I gotta find
Okay,
a
first of all, China China has taken advantage of us for far too long.
Dude, he just achieved a trade agreement with China to make it quote unquote easier for them to take advantage of us. What you call China taking advantage of us is literally just trade between the countries. But guess what? The trade deal he just made with China demonstrates lower tariffs on the goods we export and give to them and higher tariffs on the goods they export and give to us. We will be paying more for Chinese products than China's paying for American products. Under your view, that is China taking advantage of America, and that was a trade deal that Donald Trump made.
No way, because that's the whole reason why that's the cause of the entire Trump trade war is because of that.
How is China taking advantage of us?
Because they were able to, they didn't let us sell a lot of our things there. If we tried to export things to them, some things were off limits. But yet we accept everything they send over to us.
That's not true. That's not true. Donald Trump tariffed China in 2018. He tariffed their steel, he tariffed their aluminum, and he tariffed their washing machines, and he tariffed their solar panels. And I mean, he was introducing tariffs over 100%.
Well, yeah.
And that wasn't that he didn't try to. He did.
He's been saying. Wait.
I want to clarify. He didn't try to. He did do that. That is something he did. He didn't make an attempt to do it. He did it.
Did what?
He tariffed Chinese products such as solar panels, washing machines, steel, aluminum, and soybeans. He introduced tariffs over 100% on those Chinese products in his first term.
I do remember the soybean part, yeah. But ever since 1988, there was a video that's from 1988. He says that, you know, the tariffs and stuff with trading are just, they're horrendous for the American people.
Wait, tariffs are horrendous for the American people? Then how come he implemented them on every other country on earth?
Well, if it actually helped us, and if it was helpful, if it was helpful
there you go. There you go. Oh, see, when you discover that it's something he did, now it helps us.
No, so if it was helpful for China, then why are they fighting us for it? Why is it a trade war?
Because he increased China tariffs on them, and if they were to back off immediately, they'd look weak.
So it's a beat my chest kind of deal?
And like tariffing other countries is not helpful to them, nor is it helpful to us.
I can agree with that part.
So then you disagree with Donald Trump's policy?
No, not exactly.
Bro, what? Bruh, dude, what the fuck are you even saying? You're literally so incoherent. This is gibberish nonsense. What? You just told me that tariffs are bad, tariffs are not helpful, you don't support tariffs, and then I'm like, therefore you disagree with Donald Trump's policy because it's tariffs, and then you're like, no, I actually fucking love it. Oh my God, I love it so much. I love his tariffs. They're awesome. They're the greatest thing that America's ever seen. It's a change that is necessary that's making America great again. I swear to God, dude, I swear to God, like this shit is crazy to me. I just can't even comprehend of this like bullshit, dude. Explain the BS. Explain the BS. You're all over the place. It's like, oh, tariffs bad, but Trump tariffs good. Even though it is the worst, imposition of tariffs that we've ever seen, as it is blanket tariffs on every other country in the world. Makes no goddamn sense. I got to thank a couple people though. Sarah, thank you so much for the $100 over on PayPal. Thank you so much for the love, Sarah. Everybody, please show some love to Sarah down below in the comment section. Let's get at least 1,000 Sarah W's. That is SARAH. Thank you for the love, Sarah. Sarah says, just recently found you and said to myself, we need to lower the presidential age requirement to 12 years old so this kid can run. I'm not 12. But I appreciate the compliment nonetheless. Thank you so much, Sarah. I will take that as an intended compliment. Thank you for the love. Everybody, please show some love to Sarah down below in that chat. Literally right now.
You are a great debater.
I appreciate you for your kindness, even though you've been pissing me off. And then also Erica, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo, saying in the kitchen making dinner while you do the cooking. Erica, it's so good to have you in here with us again today. Happy to have you. You're always here, Erica. Show some love to Erica down below in that chat, as well as Kristen with the $50 over on Venmo, and Veteran with the $50 on Super Chat. on YouTube. Veteran says, keep fighting the good fight, sir. And then Kristen says, happy Sunday, all the good vibes your way. Show some love to Kristen and Veteran right the fuck now. It's so good to see you both. Kristen and Veteran, you guys are literally always in here. I'm so appreciative for y'all. Please show some love to Kristen and Veteran. I mean it. Like, they're always in here showing love. Y'all mean the world to me. Just know that. Thank you so much, Kristen and Veteran. And then also, Sid, thank you so much for the $25 on PayPal. Shout out to Sid saying, Dean, did you adopt a hamster? What the fuck is that noise? I'm pretty sure that's coming from the guest's mic. But thanks for the $25, Sid. Show some love to show some love to the donors, y'all. Seriously, thank you guys so much for the love. But go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, so Donald Trump is talking about getting rid of the federal taxes. But we can't just get rid of federal taxes. We can't just eliminate it without having something in place of that. And that's what he's doing with the tariffs.
Bruh.
He's going to implement these tariffs, and then federal taxes are going to be eliminated.
Hey, who spends a greater proportion of their income? Rich people or poor people?
Oh, poor people.
So that means that poor people will be disproportionately impacted by the tariff tax because they spend a greater proportion of their income. So that is a regressive tax system.
It's kind of like chasing your own tail, though, because, I mean, once we do not have
Do you
to
mind
pay
if you let me
federal
finish?
taxes. Yeah.
Okay, so if we were to only raise government income with tariffs, it's a regressive taxation system where poor people pick up most of the burden as they spend a disproportionate amount of their income on the bare necessities to live and the money that they spend, okay? So you basically want to switch from having a progressive taxation system that is easier on you the less money you make to having a regressive taxation system that is harder on you the less money you make. What world is that a good economic idea? In what world is that an economic decision that is good?
I think the idea of it eliminates both of them. I think it's a waste of time, to be quite frank. You know,
What?
eliminating
Wait,
federal
what you're saying
taxes and
makes
then
no
doing
sense.
tariffs, no matter what. Like, if my paycheck comes in and I have federal taxes withheld from it,
You
I'm only going
understand
to
that
have that for,
they're going to have to account for like the same amount of revenue that they currently get off of the IRS with the tariffs. So it'd just be incredibly high tariffs that disproportionately impact poorer Americans. So it's just
Right.
switching the tax burden from rich people to poor people. In what world is that a good idea?
I don't think that it's gonna. I don't think that it's gonna disproportionate as much as you think that it is.
So you did affirm that it will disproportionately place that burden on poor people when you agreed that poor people spend a greater level of their income proportionately to rich people on goods to live. You
So
cannot deny
that's-
that because it's the goods that will
that's
be more
undeniable. It's
expensive because
just
of the
that is-
tariffs.
It is
So
what-
like
it is
tariffs
what
are
that is.
undeniably a regressive tax.
I feel like he's chasing his tail with it.
That
eliminating
statement makes no
something just to
sense.
put something else in
Could you agree
place.
that tariffs are undeniably a regressive tax?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to switch to from an undeniably progressive system of taxation to an undeniably regressive system of taxation. Do you see how I call that a fucking crazy, stupid, idiotic idea?
So,
Like,
no,
so-
I think it should be left as it is because not too much is going to actually change.
Okay.
The only thing that's really going to change is what I'm purchasing at the store is going to be higher, but my federal taxes are going to be in my paycheck. So I'm not going to be sending out, $800 a month in federal taxes.
All right, I'm gonna kick you now, unless you have anything else to say. The only reason why I'm saying that is because I've already responded to this point, and you're just going in circles with me now. The way I responded to this point was by pointing out the fact, okay, that they'd have to account for the same level of income that they get off of federal taxes through the tariffs. So it'd just be dramatically high tariffs that would make the quality of your life significantly worse, disproportionately so. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like that's a pretty clear point.
And I'm agreeing with you.
So then why would it be a good idea if you admit that it'd make your life dramatically worse? Like,
I
what
never
world
said that
are
it
we
would make.
living in?
I never said that it would make my life worse.
Okay, I'm kicking you.
I
now.
don't need to buy expensive things.
I'm kicking you now. Goodbye. The reason why I just kicked you is because you agreed with me that it'd make your life dramatically worse. And then the following breath that came out of your mouth, you disagreed with me that it'd make the quality of your life dramatically worse. What the fuck? What's up, Big Dog 8? Are you MAGA?
Yes, I am.
Okay, how old are you?
I am 37.
Sweet. Before we hop into our debate, I really got to thank Kyle for the $50 donation over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love, Kyle. Dude, let's get 500 Kyle W's down below in that chat. Kyle says, first live of yours I've watched. Amazing. Keep it up. You were a star and we need you. Kyle, that is so incredibly kind of you, man. Please show some love to Kyle down below in that chat. I mean that seriously. Thank you so much for tuning in, being a first-time viewer. It is incredibly kind of you to donate $50. I mean, seriously, that is insane, man. So thank you so much for the love. Please show some love to Kyle down below. And if you're watching and you'd like to support me, keep the stream running for 4 hours a day every single day. You can support me on Venmo and PayPal, which I have on top of the phone screen right there, as well as there in the link tree in the bio and in the pin message over on YouTube. And I really appreciate y'all for the love. But take it away, Mr. Big Dog 8. Why should I not think that the president sucks?
So I voted for Trump because the Democrats for the last 8 years promised that they were going to do police reform, but when they had both chains of Congress here, the House and the Senate, they didn't do anything with it here. Every Democrat, I live in a Democrat city here that has been increasing and increasing and increasing the police budget, but yet the police don't do anything.
Okay. You know what? Fair critique of the Democrat Party. I could see that point. Democrats have been talking about police reform, and we didn't see much action for police reform under the Biden-Harris administration. Very fair. You know what? I'm actually going to give that to you full-heartedly. What I'm not going to give to you is that therefore you should vote for the guy that has only further infringed upon the rights of citizens, has only made quote-unquote over-policing worse, right? Has only, made it more difficult for Americans or people in America to exercise their constitutional rights and protections. You can't say that you wanted police reform and didn't get it from Democrats, so therefore you're going to vote for the fascist that is actively infringing upon people's constitutional rights and doesn't care.
I voted for Trump this time to teach the Democrats a lesson. I voted for Joe Biden in 2020, and when I see the Democrats doing anything, I switched over to Trump.
Well, I mean, shit. Now you've just made it worse, though. Like, it's like you went from supporting the party that didn't do anything about police reform to just actively making the problem worse. Like, obviously, not doing anything is going to be better than actively making the problem worse. Like, come on.
I'm like, when I live in a city here where the Democrats sat here and said, oh, we're going to continue to fund the police here, but yet the police that we have in our city are corrupt. They pepper sprayed a 12-year-old girl. They slammed a nonviolent protester on the ground, and the Democrat mayor
That was
of the
ICE.
city. The Democrat mayor of the city sat there and allowed his corrupt police department to do that.
And then Donald Trump has personally been blackbagging adult women in university and moving them to ICE detention sites, violating orders from judges, and sending a man from Maryland to a terrorist prison in El Salvador, and then not giving a shit when the Supreme Court tells him that it's illegal. Like, dude, this is like having a landlord that charges you $500 per month in rent, promise you that he's not going to increase your rent, or at least seem to indicate that, but then he increases it from $500 to $600, and you're mad at that. So then you leave that apartment, and then you go start renting an identical space for $5,000 per month. Okay, it is just completely antithetical to your goal of paying a lower amount of money into rent per month. Just like supporting Trump is antithetical to your goal of reducing corruption and authority.
So what would you propose then here for the Democrats to do here? I'm like, the
Well,
Democrats.
what I propose for you to do is to have voted for Kamala Harris and then be voicing these concerns about the Democrats in power prior to the midterms, so we could get people in office that do want to fight for police reform.
I'm like, we've been screaming. I've been screaming at our Democrat mayor to do something, and he won't do anything. I'm like, when people are sat there like me here who have their backs thrown against the wall, and their Democrat mayor and their Democrat aldermen and women do not listen to them.
Hey,
what do you expect?
You're not engaging with my points whatsoever. I want you to engage with the following statement. Donald Trump is worse for corruption in figures, positions, or institutions of authority, and he is actively emboldening more rights violations on more citizens by police, by ICE agents, etc.
And I agree with you. I don't agree with everything Trump is doing. And the fact is that Maybe now the Democrats will wake up and listen to the people when they are telling them there's an issue and do something.
Wait. So not supporting, or so not actionably doing much for police reform is enough for you to get you to never support the Democrats, but actively making the issue worse is not enough to get you to stop supporting Trump.
I mean, like, I'll go back to switching to I can't talk today. I'll go back to voting for Democrats when the Democrats get a spine.
So Donald Trump is a
What are they
fascist.
gonna do?
So why do you want police reform, but you also want fascism? Explain that to me.
I didn't vote for Donald Trump in that case. I voted for Trump just to teach the
Wait,
Democrats a
but Donald
lesson.
doesn't. So you voted for fascism to own the libs.
I voted for Trump to teach the Democrats that they need to start listening to the people.
Big dog, is
and
Trump a
and
fascist?
yes, Trump is a fascist.
So you voted for a
Absolutely.
fascist? Yes or no?
Yes, I absolutely
So you
did.
voted for fascism to teach the Democrats a lesson.
Correct, because the Democrats sit there and say one thing and they don't do it.
Okay, bro. I'm gonna move
Like,
on to my next guest. You're not wasting my time.
Trump sat there and ran on all these things
Hey,
that he
hey,
said
pal.
he was going
Hey,
to
pal.
do,
Hey, pal.
and
Hey,
he's
pal.
doing them.
Hey, pal.
But the Democrats ran on things and they didn't do it.
Hey, pal. I'm gonna move on to the next guest. You're not worth my time.
All right.
Wait. You just
later.
said that the Democrats ran on it, but didn't do it. Show me where Kamala Harris ran on police reform.
Kamala Harris and Joe Biden said that they were going to reform the police in their first election in 2020.
I'm talking
Here,
about in
nothing-
2024.
Correct. In 2020, they said that they were
Okay, I'm
going
not
to
talking
reform
about
the police,
2020. I'm talking about
never got
2024.
If they didn't do it in their first term, what makes you think that Kamala Harris was going to do it when if she was elected?
I never said that I did. In fact, that was the first thing I conceded is it's likely that she wouldn't have. But she didn't run on doing anything, just like Donald Trump didn't run on police reform either.
Exactly. So they both ran on not doing anything. So they should have ran.
So then
one
how?
of them should have ran on
So
that.
if none of the two candidates ran on police reform, okay, we have to examine the other things they did run on to determine who's the better out of the two. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you admitted Trump was a fascist. Was Kamala Harris a fascist?
She has some tenets. The Democrat Party does have some tenets of fascism, but they're not as bad as the Republican Party.
So that made her the better
However,
out of the two?
It did. I would have voted for her if she
Bruh.
ran on doing police reform and actually stuck to it.
Okay, so you would have voted for Kamala Harris. So police reform is a red line against Kamala Harris, but fascism is not a red line against Trump.
I'm like, when you see our black and brown brothers and sisters in our city,
Can you affirm that? Can you affirm that? Police
when you
reform.
see the black and brown people getting targeted, the redlining that's going on in our country, the systemic racism that's going on, that's not right, bruh.
Hey. So not running on police reform was a red line against Kamala Harris, but fascism was not a red line against Trump.
If Kamala Harris ran on police reform, I would have voted for her.
So affirm that not running on police reform was a red line against Harris, but fascism was not a red line against Trump.
Again, I didn't vote for Trump because I liked his policies. I voted for Trump to teach the Democrats a lesson.
Doesn't Donald Trump want to give police more immunity?
Yes, he does. But the Democrats sat there and
did Kamala Harris want to give police more immunity?
The Democrats sit there all the time and say they're going to do something,
hey,
but
big
they
dog,
never do anything.
hey, big dog. If you repeat that again, I'm seriously gonna ban you. I'm not just gonna kick you. I'm gonna ban you. You've said that 50 times. You've seriously said that 50 fucking times. I heard you the first time. I heard you the second time. I heard you the third time. I heard you the fourth time. I heard you the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 10th, 50th time. If you repeat it again, I'm gonna kick you. Okay? Did Kamala Harris run on giving the police more immunity?
No, she didn't.
So if you want police reform, how come you voted for the candidate that wants to give them more immunity compared to the candidate that wants to give them less immunity?
Because I'm just tired of the Democrats in my city.
Yeah, you don't give a fuck about police reform. If you proactively support and voted for the candidate that wants to give them more immunity. I care about racism, and for that reason, I'm a Nazi. That's essentially what that guy's logic was. What's going on, Luke? How old are you?
Hello, I'm 30.
30. Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Okay. Why's that?
Yeah, because he was sorry. Let me get my thoughts together for a second. He was instrumental in getting Roe v. Wade thrown out, and I'm Christian, so it goes against my religion, my morals, ethics.
Okay. Yeah. Have we already had a conversation?
No, I've never talked to you before. I've
Okay.
talked to Parker before. It's not you.
Yeah. So where in the Bible does it state that one must apply their normative moral truths to an enforceable mechanism such as a state and their legislation?
Oh yeah, well you wouldn't have. You wouldn't. It doesn't say you have to do that, but everybody votes based on their morals.
Okay, but I guess my claim would be is that my moral, my standard of morality can justify an enforcement of said morality. Yours can't.
Wait, why would you need that justification? Does it say that you can't do it in the Bible anywhere?
Well, I guess the other issue would be is how do you delineate which sins are worse than others, or can you? I mean, I think that all we
Well,
really
this-
understand is that all sins fall short of the glory of God as ordained by the New Testament. How do you determine that some sins are worse than others? And then how do we know if we should legislate on abortion, but like not legislate on like lying? Or
Well, that
like,
would be
cheating?
based on the church fathers, because I'm Greek Orthodox.
You're Greek Orthodox.
Yeah, so that would be based on the ideas of the church fathers. So you would have to ask them. But I'm just saying this is my ethics that I live upon. Can I ask you why you think abortion is good? Like, why is it okay?
About the Greek Orthodoxy? How do you deal with like contradictions and like the teachings of like the magisterium? Because like I mean, the
yeah.
magisterium is like truly divinely inspired and infallible. Like, why do we see different teachings from different individuals inside of the magisterium?
Yeah, I think you're kind of moving the goals, but I can say that
How am I moving the
I'm-
goalposts? I'm just testing like
Because I
your-
never made a claim. I never made a claim that I follow Greek Orthodox because I think it's perfect. So you're like just kind of straw manning me.
Well, then you don't know what orthodoxy is. Like orthodoxy, the reason why like you accept some authority of like the church, you believe in a magisterium, which is like the infallible teaching of God. That's why you trust like the tradition and like councils like led by early church fathers, as well as like the early papacy before the Great Schism, to be the case is because you view them as infallible in some senses, right? At least in like the official teachings. Or,
Yeah, but do you
then
agree
the
that
issue
there's
with
other?
this is like if it is a case that like you know the tradition of like early church fathers or like different councils of the early church fathers were like truly infallible, like how come we see contradictory teachings from them?
Yeah, you would have to talk to the patriarchs, but do you agree that there's other reasons to join like a religion or Christianity besides what you're saying, like believing that every single thing's perfect about it?
Wait, if you don't believe the magisterium is perfect, then why don't you believe in sola scriptura?
Wait, why don't?
Because like you understand that like what you're basically saying here is not believing in like the normative authority of the church and the infallible nature of like the councils of early church fathers. Like that was the reason for Reformation. Like that was the reason for the split of like Protestants. That is why people claim to sola scriptura, only listening to the teachings of the scripture, not listening to councils held outside of what the scriptures teach, and don't believe in the authority of church fathers.
Yeah, I'm just not sure what any of this has to do with abortion. I don't know why you kind of moved it here.
Because
I'm
your
Greek Orthodox
your
because
standard here of like orthodoxy is like you don't have any justification for it.
Justification for what? Yeah, no, I do because
Orthodoxy.
being Greek Orthodox provides better metrics and outcomes in life
Wait,
than
so you're saying-
non-Christians.
So you're basically saying that like you hold to the standard not because like it's true, but just because you think that it like increases the quality of life more. So let me
No,
ask you a question: if like there
I
was like
believe it's
if there was
true.
a study done, if there's a study done that shows that being Mormon objectively produces a higher quality of life than being Orthodox, would you be Mormon?
If there's less flaws, if you can prove that there's less like bad outcomes as well. It's not just good outcomes; it's negating bad outcomes as well.
Yeah, overall, Mormonism produces better outcomes than Orthodoxy. Would you be a Mormon?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, that's kind of basically your ethics come from too, right? It's probably based something around utilitarianism and harm reduction. So you want the best thing for society?
I'm a threshold deontic, but like the thing is like you. So I just want to clarify: you're not an Orthodox because you like have a good argument for the magisterium or a good argument for the authority of the church or a good argument for God. You just think that it produces like the best qualities of life. So like you're in other words, you're like not a moral realist in the sense that you believe in a perfect standard of morality, that being a creator. Like you're just a subjectivist, and you hold to the standard of
I believe in
utilitarianism.
God. I just don't think I need to have like some like perfect understanding or argument for every flaw within my religion to justify being it.
Wait, but that's not just like a small minuscule flaw.
Because I can show you a bunch of flaws in your morals and ethics.
This isn't a small minuscule flaw at all. You told me that you could delineate between how sins are like more wrong than other sins based upon.
I never said that.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I asked you.
When did I say that?
Yes, I asked you how you could tell that some sins are worse than others, and then you said because of the teachings of early church fathers within the Orthodox.
No, I said I don't know. You would have to talk to the church fathers. That's what I said.
Okay, so you don't know. So then with what reason can you say that access to abortion should be illegal because it's a sin, but lying to your children and telling them that Santa Claus exists shouldn't be illegal even though it's a sin?
This is the ethics of the church fathers. This is what the church fathers have decreed.
Well, why should I care? Why should I
care?
care? Why should I care what the early church fathers have to say? Why is what they say any different than what I say?
Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to. That's why we vote.
Okay, so I just want to clarify that you telling me that you support pro-life policy because of what the early church father said is just as valid as fucking John Wall 816 in the chat saying he supports pro-choice policy because it's what Dean Withers said.
Yeah, sure. That's why we vote. But that's why I'm at.
Great. So you're basically just saying that you support it because you support it. That's a great argument you got there.
That's your ethics too. That's your ethics too. If we dig into your ethics, it's basically this is my preference, and I support this because this is my preference. So why are you trying to?
So I have a question. What is a relevant distinction between you and a white supremacist? And what I mean by that is a white supremacist would say it's wrong to be black because I think it's wrong to be black. I don't really have any other reasoning here. I just simply my preference. What's the logical distinction?
Because the outcomes of being Christian is better. Like it's better than being non-religious. So this obviously gives you a better outcome in life.
A better outcome in life. So you're just they would argue that the outcomes of white supremacy is better.
Well, yeah, but I actually can show studies and give like data to show this. They can't
show data to demonstrate that pro-life legislation leads to better outcomes.
Christian, yeah, Greek Orthodox has better outcomes. Correct. Yes.
So
I can give data on that.
So if Mormonism once again empirically led to better outcomes than Orthodoxy, would you be a Mormon?
Yeah, I already said this. You would too, based on your morality.
I wouldn't because I don't.
Wait, why?
Yeah, because I don't think that when I die, if I'm really, really good, that maybe one day I'll get to be a god of another universe, and that is an essential belief of the Mormon religion. I don't believe that there's some greater God that delegates gods to different planets, such as delegating the God of Jesus to the planet Earth. I think that's just fucking fairy tale gibberish.
But you believe that there are some lies
this
that
is
we tell
essentially
that are good, right?
This is essentially like you telling me that if believing that Ben 10 was the creator of the universe and Stewie Griffin helped Ben 10 create the universe, and that led to better outcomes insofar as quality of life, would I believe that Ben 10 and Stewie are God? Like, no, I wouldn't, because it's simply not true.
Would you tell your kids a lie if it would it got them to a better outcome in life, like a white lie or something?
It depends on what the lie is, and seemingly you even recognize that by calling it a white lie.
Yeah, I said or something. Yeah, like I said, there's the obvious. Your morality is based on what's better for society. So I don't know how you would say, oh, even if I show that this is way better for society in every way.
But then once again, you just refer to it as a lie. So Chris, thank
What?
you so much for the galaxy. Well,
No.
the acceptance of like a religion is to like accept that it's not a lie. It's to accept that
No,
it's
but
literally
we're talking
true.
about Mormonism. We're talking about Mormonism. So
Yeah, but
we're
you're
talking
saying
about- if-
you're
even if I
basically
think
saying that even if it
Mormonism's
was a lie, but that means that you want to be a Mormon, because in order to be a Mormon, you must accept that the propositions are true, not that the propositions are false.
Wait, why would you have? No, you don't. What do you mean?
Yes, you do. You have to accept like that essential characteristics of Mormonism, such as like believing that Joseph Smith was a prophet of God. That proposition must necessarily be true in order for Mormonism to follow. What?
So why is there so many pro-choice Catholics?
Why? I don't know. Why? What's the relevance?
The relevance is they don't believe in the what the Pope is saying, and what the Catholic Church believes, but they're still Catholic, correct?
So, I mean, I'm not going to just LARP as a Catholic and try to make an argument that you could be pro-choice and Catholic if you want to have that debate because you think that you can't be pro-choice.
Wait, so all the Catholics that are pro-choice are not Catholic?
Wait. If you want to make that argument to a Catholic, go for it. But I'm not a Catholic.
Wait, okay, so you think all the Catholics that are pro-choice aren't really Catholic?
I'm not going to LARP and give you an argument that you can be Catholic and pro-choice. Go take that argument to a Catholic. Debate it out.
So yes or no?
Because they would argue, like the argument
away
from a
from this?
pro-choice Catholic would be is that being pro-choice is not contradictory to fundamental truths of the Catholic worldview. Okay, your claim
It doesn't
is
matter
that
because the Pope
being
is the
pro-choice-
authority. The
Yeah.
Pope is the authority.
Yeah, but
so if you don't
basically the view of a pro-choice Catholic is that you could recognize the authority of the papacy while still upholding a pro-choice worldview. Okay, and if you disagree with that,
I'm asking
if you
your
think
argument.
that's
We're
contradictory,
talking about your worldview, not their worldview. I'm doing an
so then
internal
why
critique
are
based
you
on,
asking me
your
about
logic.
then why are you asking me about Catholics? I'm not a Catholic.
Because this is your this is your logic. You say that you have to believe in all of this, what the church believes, to be part of that church. So
Yeah,
would you
you
say
absolutely
that?
do.
So yeah, so you say that the pro-choice Catholics aren't Catholic by your worldview.
Well, we have to assume one other
not
thing.
their argument.
We'll have to assume one other thing. So, assuming that the papacy and the magisterium and the authority of the Catholic Church has expressly stated that abortion is wrong and ought be legal, and that is going to be a tradition of the magisterium rooted in the early church fathers, and that's a divination from God, yet they disagree with that, yeah, they're not a Catholic.
No, wait, no, you don't have to assume that, because all the Pope would have to say is right now, abortion is not part of the church. This is not what we believe in. And he has the authority to do that. So if you believe in that, you're not part Catholic then.
So being pro-choice doesn't mean that you believe in quote unquote abortion. It doesn't mean that you have to think that abortion is okay. It just means that you think it's legal. So you have to assume that like for whatever reason, the power of the church has ordained via divination from the Holy Spirit that abortion should be illegal. Yeah, like if you
Why
disagree
would you
with
want
that, you're not a
something
Catholic.
that you know is wrong and unethical? Like it's literally murder. Why would you want that to be legal?
Yeah, go ask a fucking pro-choice Catholic.
Yeah, so that exactly. So you're by your logic, they're not Catholics. All the people in your chat that are Catholics that say they're pro-choice are not Catholic. by
I
your
literally just
standard.
clarified precisely how that's wrong. They'd have to be contradicting a teaching of the church.
Yeah, and the Pope. This is what the Pope says. So that's what you. So you agree.
Yeah. So if the papacy says that this must expressly be illegal, and this is like a divination of the Holy Spirit, then it's a contradiction to the church. But there's absolutely
what I'm
arguments that you could believe that something is like wrong while still maintaining the position that it ought be legal. So
yeah, why?
Like,
Why?
Again, why? I mean, why
Yeah,
ought it be legal?
wouldn't that be unethical?
I could give you like a billion different reasons: separation of church and state, recognition of like individualism, literally being an anarchist, not believing in the existence of a state whatsoever, being a communist, thinking that we shouldn't have a state, being an anarcho-libertarian, thinking that we shouldn't have an enforcement mechanism of rights violations.
Yeah, I'm not asking other people's point of views. I'm asking about your point of view.
Well,
if you think it's murder, why would you not make it illegal? If
but you're not.
already illegal?
But my point of view is that it's not murder. So you're not asking for my point
I
of
know,
view.
but I mean, based on their point of view, that it
So
is,
you are asking me about other people's point of view, so I can merely posit potential reasons.
Yeah, but I'm asking you based on your point of view, your third party perspective of their point of view. They think that it's murder because the Pope is saying this. So why would that make them Catholic if murder is illegal already?
So I just named off like a billion reasons why that.
No, you didn't, because murder is illegal. Murder is illegal.
Wait. I just named off like a billion reasons how that could be the case. You could literally be a communist and not believe in the existence of a state. You could uphold to the position that like you believe in a separation in church of state. You could just hold to the position that you don't want to personally engage in electoral processes. Like there's about a billion potential reasons that pro-choice Catholics could uphold.
But that wouldn't make you
wouldn't entail
pro-choice. That would
specific
make you like
contradiction.
That would make you like
Yo,
agnostic.
one fussy
You
baby.
wouldn't-
Thank you
you
so much
wouldn't
for all the
want it-
galaxies. I really appreciate you so much for the love. Thank you so
Almost
much.
all of those would be you not voting on it. You would be agnostic to it. You wouldn't want it. You wouldn't vote it to be legal.
No, that's not true. You literally
You don't want to be part of the state. Why would you vote it to be legal? That makes no sense.
So you just misconstrued my position. Like you could absolutely uphold like a position of anarchy and just a reduction of the power that the state has over individuals, and thereby voting for all legislation that would reduce power and control over individuals. But once again, like seriously, just go debate a pro-choice Catholic, because I'm not. Thank you so much for the galaxies. I
I'm
appreciate
just saying
that,
your
one, Fossey.
logic. Your logic kind of attacks
Thank you so
all the
much.
Catholics in the Catholics in the chat.
So I just literally affirmed how that's not true. I've given you
No,
like the
yeah, you
argument
said,
over and
oh,
over
they
and over
could be
again.
this, they could be this, but we're talking about what they are right now and what system of government they live in right now.
How about?
and
Can I give
Schroeder's
you like a better
already
example?
Illegal.
Can I give you a better example?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, a better example would be: can you be Catholic while rejecting the magisterium? No, you can't.
Yeah,
Can you
exactly.
be a Mormon with rejecting Joseph Smith? No, you can't. See, that's like a better example. That proves I'm right. Proves you're wrong.
Well, no, okay. I'm saying like if you want to use this logic, then you have to be consistent in every other thing. If
something
any
entails a
person believes in
contradiction.
like LGBT, a Catholic that says, oh, LGBT, they should be able to be married, anything like this, you have to say they're not Catholic.
Like once again, you would debate that given to see if it's entailed from the religion or not entailed from the religion.
Yeah, the Pope says they can't get married. It's not part of this is what the Pope says. They can't get married. So if you're pro,
Yeah, so then
their
if you uphold the
marriage-
position that gay individuals should be able to get married and that should be ordained by the church,
Yeah.
you're not Catholic. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, then we agree. Sure. Can I get into like your definition of life though? Can we get into abortion or?
Well,
like,
yeah,
you-
just
we can
once
go
again,
into our moralities.
once again, just like wrapping back around to abortion. You have no reason to believe that abortion should be illegal. Once again, because you're reliant upon the teachings of church fathers, in which you have in which you don't have an argument for them being holding authority or being infallible. Why should I care about what early church fathers say?
Yeah, well, I believe that they do. So it's just my preference.
well, then
just
give
like,
me the
just
argument.
like your preference.
Then go ahead and justify
Well-
that by giving me an argument.
Yeah, it's my preference that the church fathers are right. So this is what the ethics that I'm living under.
Okay,
Just
well,
like it's your preference
okay,
that,
wait, wait,
that
Luke,
deontology,
wait,
threshold deontology.
Wait,
is,
Luke. So therefore, my preference is that you're wrong.
Yeah, sure. So that's why we argue the specifics. So what's your definition of life?
Wait, why do we need to argue the specifics when I could just merely say that my preference is that you're wrong?
Because we're voters, and this is why Roe v. Wade was
Okay,
overturned.
well then if let's argue the specifics, then argue the specifics of insofar as why you believe the early church fathers to be infallible.
Why are you scared to talk about the definition of life? I'm confused.
Why are
don't
you
want to talk
scared to
about the
defend your own
specifics of
argument?
abortion?
We
Why
are-
are you scared
we-
to defend your abortion argument? You won't give any of your definition that I've asked over and
Wait,
over again.
wait, Luke,
You only attack.
I'll happily defend my position as soon as you could defend yours. You're the one that came up here saying that abortion
Yeah,
should be
exactly.
illegal, and then you're the one that said the reason why it should be illegal is reliant on teachings of early church fathers in which you cannot defend. Don't try to like reframe
never
and
said early
manipulate and
church
gaslight
fathers.
this debate in order to like frame yourself to look better. Like the fact of the matter is you look really fucking bad right now because you can't defend your view. Like obviously, no, I'm not
both
going to
of our
defend my
moral-
view. I'm going to clarify. I'm not going to defend my view if you cannot defend yours at all and merely just say that my view is dependent upon a preference that these people had divination from God to always be right. Like that is literally what you're saying. You think some humans were infallible. The Holy Spirit intervened with their teachings and made it infallible and always true and indicative of truths from a perfect being. Okay? Like, what if I just said this about myself? I have a preference that I'm infallible. I have a preference that whatever I say, right, is direct teaching from a perfect, all good being that created this universe. So therefore, whatever I say, right, is objectively true. And I say that abortion's not wrong. All of a sudden, my argument is just as sound as yours, okay? Your position on insofar as why you think abortion should be legal, right, is dependent upon teachings from early church fathers within the orthodoxy to demonstrate that some sins are worse than others to justify criminalizing abortion, but not criminalizing lies. All right.
Yes,
For that
and you're-
reason,
and
you have to
can you
give
stop
me an
dish
argument
galloping?
why early church fathers were infallible. Why is what early? Why
I
were
don't
the
have
teachings
to,
of early church
because
fathers?
your
hold authority?
preference, you admit that your morality is literally based on your preference, and your idea to value sentience you're based on your preference. All this is based on your preference. Okay, wow, we both based our morality on our preferences. Okay, where do we go from there? We talk about the actual data and what actually is happening in real life. Like I don't understand what you like. Both of our morality is based on preference. Like you have to agree with that.
Okay, but the difference between my position and yours is that when I say I value sentience, I could actually defend the view by telling how you should value it too, given your own preferences. Like, for instance, I'll use reductios of like zygotes. Okay, you don't value them; they're not sentient. Makes sense. You value non-humans less, like cows, pigs, and dogs. Okay, well they're less sentient. Seemingly makes sense. You don't value dead people. Well, seemingly it's because they're not sentient. You don't value brain dead people, even though they're alive. Seemingly it's because they're not sentient. We have a back and forth about the internal contradictions that would exist given our other preferences. Okay, I want you
so now I
to
can
give
I
me
can
an
give it back.
argument. No, I want you to give me any argument that the early church fathers of the orthodoxy held more authority to make true claims. Okay, like just demonstrate that to me. If you can, I'm going to kick you and move on, and I win, and you lose.
Yeah, you kick because you're scared to argue about abortion.
Why would I'm not kicking you because I'm scared? You're not.
Scared.
Wait. You're the one that's not arguing with me about abortion. You're the one that's not defending your view.
Abortion. You're talking about church fathers, early church fathers, when I never even said anything about early.
Yes,
church
you
fathers.
did. You said that your view is inherently related to the fact that early church fathers had
No, I never
ordained
said
abortion
early.
as being.
Never said early.
Okay,
You're lying. I never said early
Yes,
once.
okay,
You're lying again.
So you
this is why you're
absolutely-
scared to have abortion.
So you absolutely did say early church fathers, but if you just
No,
want to
I didn't.
rephrase
You're
that
lying.
to church fathers as a whole, I don't care. So go ahead and justify the
Go back.
infallibility
You're
of church
lying.
fathers.
Go back. You're lying. Just go back. You're lying. I
Hey.
never said early once.
Okay,
Once. You're just making stuff up.
we could just say church
Why are you
fathers.
scared to have an abortion argument? Why are you so scared?
Luke, you're the only one scared. Hey, chat,
Yeah,
is he giving me an argument insofar as why the teachings of church fathers are infallible?
I don't have my preference.
Oh, wait, you're scared.
Just like yours.
Wait, okay,
What-
wait. So then I don't have to because it's my preference.
Yeah, you're scared. You're scared. No, we're talking about abortion.
Wait,
and You're
wait.
scared.
Wait.
You're trying to move the goalposts. You're scared.
Wait, how can I be scared when I'm giving you my argument? It's my preference.
Because we're talking about abortion. No, you're not. You never said why do you why is your preference to not have abortion legal?
It's because it's my preference.
Okay, so if it's my preference, then why can't we argue based on and see whose preference is better based on what data, what logic? Why can't we do that? Why are you scared to do that?
That's what I want to do. That's why I'm asking you for the underlying logic
No.
to justify your preference that church
That's
fathers
not
of the
how it works.
orthodoxy communicate infallible
justify-
teachings.
The justification is preference. Both of us have the same justification, preference. So then we have to go, what other data are we going by that makes this preference justified?
Okay.
All I have to do is say this.
Justify your preference that church fathers have an infallible nature inside of their teachings.
All I have to do is say I believe in this ethics. That's all I have to do. I'm part of this church. I believe in this ethics. I don't have to do anything else.
So why are
And
you a
then
part
say-
of the church?
Why am I part of the church? Because of my family and because it provides better outcomes in life.
Okay, so your justification that early church fathers had divination at the hand of the Holy Spirit is because it provides better outcomes in life?
No, you asked me why I'm Orthodox.
Okay, but you said the reasons why you're Orthodox should justify that preference, but I don't think the reasons why you're Orthodox justify that preference.
No, it doesn't have to. It's just my preference.
Okay,
It
so
could-
then if you don't have a justified preference, I'm going to debate someone
Yeah,
that
you-
does. I win, you lose. You just admitted that your preference are unjustified. Get fucking done.
Yeah, and you don't either. You don't either, dude. That's why you're scared to argue about it.
Luke, why
Let's
do you
dig into your preference? Let's dig into your preference. Why do you
Why-
only want to dig into my preference? Why can't I dig into yours?
I will stop digging into your preference when you give one reason why your preference is true.
Why is your preference true? No preference is true. What's truth?
Wait,
Why are you so scared?
Wait, preferences can't be true or false? What the fuck? So if I
Wait, how can any?
Look, the moment that you justify that like the fathers of your church are infallible, I will give you my position.
Yeah, you can't give any justification that's true either, dude. That's the whole point.
I will
That's
happily
the whole point of this.
happily justify my view once you could give any reason why you're right. Like you're the one that came in and you're positing a view.
Yeah, it's just my preference.
Okay.
Just like
so
you.
why is your preference right?
Because human life is, I think human life has some sort of sanctity that we should protect.
Wait, so you think that church fathers are infallible because human life has sanctity? What? That's
Wait,
unclear.
what? Now, what kind of straw man is that?
Straw man,
When did I say that?
I asked you to justify your preference that church fathers are infallible.
Yeah, human life has sanctity.
So once again, your argument is that
So
church
we should
fathers.
protect it.
So once again, your argument is that church fathers inside of the orthodoxy are infallible because life has sanctity.
No, they believe that life has sanctity, and that's why you should protect it, and that's what I'm justifying my preference based on that human life has sanctity. That's my justification.
Wait, the first thing that you said when you joined was that you think that abortion should be illegal because of your Christian beliefs.
Yeah, illegal, not legal.
Okay, but once again, the issue that I've been trying to demonstrate this whole time, I'll rephrase it, is that I don't think that your Christian beliefs give good enough reason to criminalize access to abortion. Here's my position. I think that if you're Christian, you do have good enough reason to believe that abortion is wrong, but you don't have good enough reason to believe that therefore abortion should be illegal. In fact, I think that there's a lot of facts of your beliefs that just result in incoherency. Here's one. Both getting an abortion and lying to your children, telling them that Santa Claus exists, are sins in the eyes of God. How can you determine that the sin of abortion is worse than the sin of lying?
Because this is what the church fathers believe. So my ethics is based on the church fathers.
How do you know that the church fathers
even
are
if
right?
they weren't right, this is my belief. So this shapes my preferences.
How do you know that the church fathers were right?
Like I said, even if they weren't right, this is my morality because of my belief in my being a member of this church. So that's what shapes my preferences.
Okay, so you're a member of this church. That's what shapes your preferences. How do you know the church is right?
Yeah, you don't have to. It's belief.
Okay,
Well,
so
how do you know
simply have
you're
faith
right?
in it?
Wait, don't. Isn't your
Okay, get out of here. Sorry.
isn't your
I'm done fucking with the guy. Just keep in mind that if you come up here arguing a view from Christianity, I'm going to apply more pressure on you than you probably ever heard. The reason why that guy was like freaking out so much is because he knows nothing about the orthodoxy. Like, he was claiming beliefs of the orthodoxy, but he doesn't know what the magisterium is. He doesn't know what the authority of the church is. He doesn't know like what the difference between like Reformation movements and the orthodoxy or the Catholic Church are. So don't embarrass yourself again like that, Luke. I know that you're still listening. Before you get into a debate where you have to justify your religious beliefs. Wait. Somebody in the chat said, Dean, you kicked him as soon as he was trying to explain. Yo, could somebody ban the bot? I was asking him to explain for 30 minutes. But anyways, if you're a member of like the Orthodox Church, if you're a member of like Protestant Reformations, Catholic Church, etc., and you use those religious beliefs to justify legislation, expect me to ask you about them. Like I bet that I know a significant amount more about things such as the Orthodoxy, about things such as different reformative movements, or even the Catholic Church, than the average person in the chat that holds to these beliefs does. What's up, Storm? How old are you?
Hey, what's up? I'm 19.
Yeah, do you support?
First of all,
Wait, I'm so sorry.
I'm
Do you
a
support?
fan of your work.
Oh, I appreciate that. Do you support
I
Trump?
want to talk about abortion if you can.
Or do you support Trump?
I can't say anything about it. He's not my president.
Okay. Well, we are just looking to debate individuals that do support the administration, y'all. So we are going to move on to the next guest. Yeah, I think I'm going to start cooking with Luke's logic. Yeah, watch how easily I win this next debate, everyone. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to win it so fast, bro. It's going to be unreal. Are you guys excited to see how quick I win this next debate with Luke's logic? Hey, what's up, Tommy? You support Trump?
100%.
You're wrong. You want to know why?
Sure.
I have a preference that you are.
Well, preferences, it's that, man. It's, I'm not religious, so.
Yo, Heather, thank you for the $20 over on PayPal. I appreciate you for the love, Heather. Let's get 200 Heather W's down below in that chat. Heather says, I've been listening to you for a few months and enjoy listening to you beat down on these Trump supporters. Thank you for all that you do. That's incredibly kind of you, Heather. Let's get at least 200 Heather W's down below. As well as Jasmine! Thank you so much for the $50 over on Venmo. Let's get 500 Jasmine W's down below in that chat. Jasmine says, hey, Dean, pro-choice cradle Catholic here. Catholicism bases much on free will. My choice does not have to be somebody else's, and everybody gets to make their own. Also, the Bible never directly mentions abortion. Yo, Cook, yeah, that should just show you, like, maybe if the last guest wanted to hear from a Catholic pro-choicer insofar as what their argument is or is not, probably should just ask them. But show some love to Jasmine down below in that chat. Let's get at least 500 Jasmine W's, as well as Danielle. Thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. I do appreciate that. But Mr. Tommy, how long has it been, man?
It's been a while, man.
I remember talking to you ages ago.
That's right.
Do you still support Trump?
100%. I mean, let's start with Doge. Look at all of the billions of dollars that we're finding that's just government corruption.
Oh, government corruption. Corruption's illegal. Has a single arrest been made?
Not yet, but it looks
why
like
not?
it's going to be going that way. So, I mean, for instance, just one of the investigations that's ongoing right now is 1,500 checks going to one address.
Well, why haven't any arrests been made?
I mean, look how long an FBI investigation takes.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Why do you think? Why do
I
you
guess
think
we won't
why
know
does the
until the
FBI has a
investigation
99%
concludes.
conviction rate?
It's actually 98, and it's not the FBI; it's the DOJ as a whole. So I guess we'll have to wait until the conclusion of the proceedings come through. Man, let me ask you a question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
If you don't like corruption, how come you voted for the most corrupt president we've seen in modern American history? Dude straight up said he doesn't know if he has to hold to the Constitution or not.
So I mean, so the thing is, like, there's so many things go around that's misinformation that kind of doesn't sway right for me, right? So like, you can start with everyone pushes the whole, oh, E. Jean Carroll, he has sexually assaulted her, or SA, or whatever that is. And then whenever you look into the facts of the case, it's like they're in like the largest department store of New York City. She's alleging that this happens in
Hey,
some
Tommy?
form of dressing room. Like,
Tommy, what
it
was the
doesn't
last
make
thing I
sense.
said?
In reference to what? Like the last physical thing that you said?
No, I asked you a question and you just didn't answer it.
I mean, yeah, you said why would I like the most corrupt person? But I'm saying that I don't believe that's the case.
My evidence was that he straight up said he doesn't know if he has to hold to the Constitution or not. And he's been like violating a fuck ton of people's constitutional rights since his inauguration. Got Abrigo Garcia, a group of Venezuelan immigrants in northern Texas, 2 planes worth of Venezuelan undocumented migrants, is EO on overturning and repealing birthright citizenship, black bagging and moving a woman in college to an ICE detention site. Even though the judge had issued a withholding order. I mean, look at all these constitutional violations. How could you say that's not corrupt? And then on top of him, for him to say that he doesn't even know if he has to hold to it.
You didn't name a single person that's a born United States citizen that was told that they have to leave the country. And if you're referencing the woman that took her children, that was her choice to take those children. The father was there. She could have left those kids with the father. However, she decided that she was going to take them. That's on her. That's not on us. And then if you look at
why do you keep
all of
wait?
the
How
Venezuelan
come you
claims-
keep
Hold on,
responding to
hold on.
questions
And
that I'm
then-
not asking?
Hold on. I said that you were talking about all the people and all these constitutional things that he's
Yeah, like
that-
Abrigo Garcia,
Yeah, that
the
doesn't even make
Venezuelan
sense.
immigrants.
They're not okay. They're Venezuelan immigrants, and we don't. Are they here legally? Are they documented? Do they go through the process? Do they have a visa? Do they have a work visa? No, they don't. Right?
So they're undocumented immigrants. Yeah.
Okay, so let them come stay at your house.
Let them come stay at it. So your response to me pointing out that Donald Trump has violated the constitutional rights of undocumented migrants and been checked by the Supreme Court twice and the federal judges 3 times is to say that I should let them stay at my house, sir.
Would
I
you
wouldn't
allow them to stay at your house?
I wouldn't allow you to stay
Yes
at my
or no?
house. I wouldn't
Okay,
allow.
so would
wait,
you allow
Tommy.
them?
Tommy, I wouldn't allow you to stay at my house, but I think you should still have constitutional protections. So even
Okay,
if
would
I
you
wouldn't allow
would you
an
allow-
undocumented
answer- just
migrant,
answer that one
a
question.
random
Would you
undocumented
allow-
migrant that I don't personally know to stay at my house, I still think they deserve
Oh,
constitutional
shit.
protections.
So okay, this country is our house, buddy. Like, this is our land. This is our domain. It's not theirs. We don't know
Wait,
who they are. We don't know
wait.
what they've got going on. There's
Would you-
plenty of avenues that they can take to come here legally. And if they choose the ones that are illegally, then we have every right to send them back to where they came from. Especially if we can prove that they have the slightest ties to anything.
Hey, so about the first claim, oh, our land, it's our house. Do you have the right to sleep wherever you want in your house?
Absolutely.
Okay, so does that mean that homeless Americans have the right to sleep wherever they want in America? They could just set up encampments wherever?
I mean, there's state places that they can do that.
Nah, they should just be able to set up an encampment on your front lawn, right?
Okay, that's private property. They can't trespass on private property.
Great. Woo! All right, got the contradiction there with the anti.
How was that a contradiction?
Yeah,
I
because
just
like
said
the whole
no,
thing of
it's
like the
not.
riot and like MAGA
I
is
just
like,
said that I
oh, look
wouldn't
at
allow-
all
no,
of these
no,
people
listen,
in
that's-
poverty that are homeless, like just setting up encampments
Okay,
wherever they
that's-
want.
that's not-
Public parks are
that's not
not
our-
for them. They should fuck off. We should arrest them all and just throw them in prison. Honestly, like I think I did see a Republican congressman say that. And then your second claim about our government having all the rights to deport these undocumented migrants. I don't know if you're listening to me. I'm claiming that they don't, and so is the Supreme Court. Like, for instance, they literally ruled that the Trump administration's removal of Abrigo Garcia was illegal.
Okay, then why haven't they pulled charges against Trump?
Well, right now because they ordered him
Oh
to
wait,
facilitate.
did he? Well, I guess we'll
I'm
have to wait.
answering.
Isn't that what you said earlier?
I'm answering your question. Why won't you let me answer your question? I was
That's
literally.
exactly what you told me earlier. Was
I was.
I
I
guess
was.
we'll have to wait.
I was literally about to give you like an answer.
According to
So they-
the logic that you used earlier, though,
so
we'll have to
I-
wait to find out, right?
Do we have to wait to find out if his deportation was illegal? No.
Okay, so then why hasn't he been impeached?
Why hasn't he been in? What are you trying to get? Are you like trying to get at that it wasn't illegal? Like the Supreme Court said it was illegal. I don't understand what
Okay,
this
so then
question.
that would mean that he committed a high crime or misdemeanor, and then they should be able to draw charges against him, and they should be able to impeach him. If what you're saying is correct, that he directly obstructed and violated people's rights, then he should indeed have been impeached, right?
Oh shit! Maybe go tell that to Democrats. Maybe they'll do it. That'd be cool. Okay, they
I
have.
mean, we've already been down this goose chase. You guys are going to try your damnedest to stop him from doing everything that he's doing.
Wait.
He's gonna
Can I
do his damnedest
read
to
you?
show where the government is doing things.
Wait, Tommy. Do you accept or deny that their deportation of Abrigo Garcia was illegal?
I don't know.
Okay, well now you do, because I'm going to read you off Supreme Court of the United States, number 248-949.
Was he a United States citizen?
No, he was not.
Oh, well, then I'm going to go with he could be deported at any time.
Okay, well the Supreme Court disagrees. That's why they ruled it was illegal.
Okay, cool. So what you're saying is that you should just be able to go to any country that you want, and that they have no right to tell you that you have to go back to your home country, that you could just stay indefinitely.
So in America, you don't have that right unless you grant undocumented migrants due process and proper hearings. And I mean, that's what the Supreme Court has ruled. Like, once again, I'll read you the ruling. The United States acknowledges, quote unquote, that Abrigo Garcia was subject to withholding order forbidding his removal to El Salvador, and that the removal to El Salvador was therefore illegal.
Okay, now,
Like, I mean, even like the Trump administration has admitted it's illegal. Like, I don't know. Are you trying to like play like these?
he's an
word
illegal.
games?
He's an illegal alien, and you're saying that we don't have the right to deport him. That makes zero
Yes.
sense.
I am. Well, it does make a lot of sense because you can't violate people's constitutional rights, and undocumented migrants have constitutional rights.
Okay, so let's break this down to a different level for you, right? We started on Doge, and you kind of sidetracked over here to this way, but it's okay. So whenever you have somebody who crosses the border illegally, they've done what?
They have committed a civil infraction or a misdemeanor. You're going to tell me it's a crime, and I'm going to say, okay, I'll
Okay,
accept
there
it.
we go. There we go. Perfect. So now they have committed a crime
Right.
just by crossing the border. Okay. Now, anytime that you come to any country, it doesn't matter where you go. If you go to Australia, if you go to England, it doesn't matter where you go. If you go somewhere and you break the law, they have every single right to deport you back to your home country. Now, if we feel,
that's
hold
actually-
on,
that
hold
statement
on,
was
hold
false.
on, hold on. Now, if we feel like there is a threat or that person could be affiliated with known terrorist organizations such as MS-13, then we have every right to proceed with caution and stay on the safe side, be proactive rather than reactive, and not allow the potential harm to come to our citizens within our country.
That's actually not true. You do not have every legal right to do that. That's what the Supreme Court ruled.
Well, then there should be some form of charges filed, and I guess we'll find out in court.
Wait, so you now think that there should be charges filed against Trump, and you're saying that we will find out in
By
court?
what you're alleging,
We already,
Wait,
this
listen,
isn't-
you're
this
spreading
isn't what I-
propaganda alleging that he's committed these offenses.
What the
And what I'm
fuck?
saying is, if he did commit those offenses, then he would be being held liable, right? The Democratic Party is all for trying to impeach Trump, so why has that not been done?
Okay, what if we do this? Like, you're saying that I'm spreading propaganda and making allegations. Like, no, I'm just reading off of the Supreme Court's website on their ruling on April 10th about Abrigo Garcia. But, like, obviously, you're not going to accept that. Hey, man, if I could prove to you with let's make a bet. Can we bet $100? If I could prove to you with certainty that his deportation was illegal, and like you literally won't be able to contest it at all because it's just a certain fact, you'll Venmo me $100. And if I can't, I'll Venmo you $100.
Again, I have no knowledge of that one particular case. let's talk about something such as Doge, right?
No,
Where I know
let's not pivot yet, because I'm gonna prove it to you with
we
certainty.
started on Doge. You pivoted to immigration. I started on Doge.
So
What
it
are you
actually wasn't a
talking
pivot at all. You're talking about corruption. I demonstrated corruption at the hand and behest of Donald Trump, and like one exuberation of that corruption would be like his illegal deportations. So I mean,
But
it's
do you
conceptually
see how
relevant to
that
the
you
point.
completely? But do you see how you completely overlooked the achievement of what's been accomplished just by simply saying, "Oh well, Donald Trump's an even worse person." Like Donald Trump has somehow committed $315 billion worth of corruption within the United States. It doesn't even make sense. It's not even comparable.
Okay. I could show you how it is comparable, but I am gonna like just strictly disprove your claim about what I said, because you were calling it like a baseless propagandistic allegation when I was saying that Abrigo Garcia's deportation was illegal, right?
Okay, so let me ask you a couple of qualifying questions, and I can give you an answer. Okay.
Okay.
Number one, the Supreme Court. How many voters were there?
All 9.
All 9. Okay. Now, what was it? Overwhelmingly Democratic or overwhelmingly Republican?
Overwhelmingly Republican.
Okay. How many of those voters were previously Democratic, or are they all like registered Republicans?
All registered Republicans.
Okay, bring it up and show me, because I don't have any idea about.
So I mean, all 9 justices voted to agree with this ruling, including the 6 conservatives. That's why I said it was overwhelmingly conservative. It's just because the Supreme Court is overwhelmingly conservative.
Okay, give me 2 seconds. Let me do my own research. And I'll get right back
Don't
to you.
even leave, man. Watch this. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do your research for you, as we speak. If you're on YouTube, you won't be able to see this. If you're on TikTok, you will be able to see this. Boom, add source. Okay. So this is the Supreme Court of the United States. This is number 24A949. Kristi Noem, Secretary, Department of Homeland Security, v. Kilmar Armando Abrigo Garcia. Let's read it. On March 15th, 2025, the United States removed Kilmar Abrigo Garcia from the United States to El Salvador, where he is currently being detained in CCOT. The United States acknowledges that Abrigo Garcia was subject to a withholding order forbidding his removal to El Salvador, and that the removal to El Salvador was therefore illegal. How could I possibly?
Okay, now let me ask you this: what previous crimes has he been charged with in the United States?
Charged with or convicted of?
Charged with.
I'm unaware. I know he's been convicted of like none, right?
Okay, let's look that up then. I mean, let's see, right? You can't just go and say, "Oh, this is one instance where we took somebody out of our country," right? There has to be a reason for that. Whether or not he was suspected of being an affiliate of a terrorist organization or whatever the case.
Wait.
may be, there has
Actually,
to
they
be
even
some
clarify on
reason.
that too. The United States alleges, however, that Abrigo Garcia has been found to be a member of MS-13, a designated foreign terrorist organization, and that his return to the U.S. would pose a threat to public. He responds by stating that he's not a member of MS-13 and he has lived safely in the United States with his family for a decade and has never been charged with a crime. So earlier, when you asked me if he's ever been charged with a crime,
So he
the
has
answer is
ties. So he has ties with a terrorist organization.
Actually,
we have reason to believe.
Wait.
We have reason to believe whatever that reason to believe is. We have reason to believe that he's involved with a terrorist organization, meaning that it's in our best interest to keep those type of people out of our country. So 100%. They have that ability now. Whether or not it's like, okay, well, whatever Supreme.
Boom. I muted you. The reason why I muted you is because you said we have the ability to remove him. No, we don't. That's why the Supreme Court said otherwise. Do you know what the Supreme Court is?
Is he back?
Is he back? So they did order the Trump administration to facilitate his return. The Trump administration said, fuck no. But yeah, they ordered him to facilitate his return. Yeah.
My boy, look at him. He's standing up to corruption at all points, right? Like, absolutely not. We're not going to bring back a terrorist. So not only is he saving hundreds of billions of dollars,
how can you say that Abrigo
corruption, but he's also keeping terrorists out of our country?
How can you say?
I think he's doing a great job.
Wait. So you think allegations equate to fact? So Donald Trump is a 26 count rapist.
Okay, so again, I've already mentioned that. Show me one substantial, physical, beyond a reasonable doubt proof that he did anything with E. Jean Carroll. Prove it.
Fucking great. I want you to show me that for Abrigo Garcia being a member of MS-13.
Okay, cool. Is he not the one that has the tattoos on his hands? I have no idea, dude. I told you I didn't study.
God! Oh my god, dude.
I'm sure they have. Listen,
Yeah,
they have
a
some
leaf,
form of
a leaf,
You can't.
a
You're making
skull,
allegations.
a cross, and a what?
Okay, so why, it's kind of
And
weird.
something
how,
else. So
okay,
that is
yeah,
beyond a reasonable shadow of a doubt. Then why is it still just an allegation?
Okay, so a leaf that's in, right? Right. It's just crazy how it all. It's just crazy how it all correlates. Exactly
Wait. Then why is it just an allegation? Why didn't a judge rule?
Well, guess what? It was reasonable. It was reasonable enough suspicion for them to deport him, wasn't it?
Actually, no, they didn't deport him because of that. They deported him because
Okay, well,
he's
I'm
an
sure- I'm
undocumented
sure-
immigrant. Wait, actually, no, it wasn't reasonable suspicion for them to deport him because their deportation was illegal. Dude, they didn't give him due process. They didn't determine reasonable suspicion at all, actually. That's why it was illegal, because there was none. There was none. There was none. That,
guess what?
there was
Now-
no official
now-
hearings. There's no official court. There's no official proceedings in front of a judge. That is why they ruled it illegal.
Okay, now we have 100% chance that he's not going to do anything illegal within our country, whereas before we didn't have a 100% chance. So it seems like we're playing on the safe side of things where we should as a country as a whole.
Okay, so you support them breaking the Constitution.
I mean, again, I haven't seen any case data on that, so I'm
Yes.
not going
Wait,
to say yes or no.
Shut the
I
fuck
mean,
up.
if
Wait,
it is-
whoa. Hey,
if it is indeed-
read.
I mean, yeah, you're showing me one document.
This is a ruling from the Supreme Court. This is like the best
Okay,
document
great.
I can show you. Read.
Okay, great. So you have one document.
It's
Now,
a
I'm gonna
Supreme
see
Court
what-
ruling. This is a SCOTUS fucking ruling. Oh, Dean, you just have one. It's a SCOTUS ruling. It was a NIDO SCOTUS ruling. Read.
I mean, you have, like, you can see part of it. You can't even see the whole thing on there. You have to
Read.
zoom out a little bit, buddy.
Read.
There you go.
Read. Read it out loud, actually. Can you read it out loud, Tommy?
Withholding it. Hold on. Abrigo Garcia was subject to withholding removal of Salvador.
Did you forget to read the part out loud where they called his removal illegal? Did you forget?
I mean,
to
yeah, I read that. I read that, and they said it was a result of an administrative error.
Yeah, that part too. Yeah, man.
And then I also see that he was found to be a member of the gang MS-13.
No,
designated
did
foreign
you forget
terrorist
to? Did you
organization.
forget to read the part where it says the United States alleges it, but he denies it? He's never been
Okay,
charged with
again.
the crime.
Okay,
wait,
so again,
wait.
he
If he
alleges.
was a member of MS-13, how come the State Department didn't even charge him?
We didn't have to. We deported him.
Oh, so you legally removed him. So the only person that we certainly know committed a crime here was the Trump administration, not Abrigo Garcia.
So I mean, so basically, what you're saying is you advocate for terrorists.
No, you do. you fucking do. You're the one that's you're the one that's on the side of crime. Okay, you're the one that's on the side of terror. Okay, you're the one that's on the side of human fucking rights violations. I think due process is a human right. That's you, not me. Okay, I'm actually the one on the side with like the 6 conservative Supreme Court justices. I'm the one that's on the side of law and order, the highest law of order in this country of SCOTUS. That you're
Okay,
the
so
bad
let's-
guy.
let's
I'm
say
the good
this.
guy. You're on the wrong side of history. I'm on
What
the
are the-
right side
what
of
are the-
history.
what are the
Look
grounds- what are
at
the
look at me and my 6 Supreme Court justices standing right behind me, affirming everything that I'm
Google this.
saying.
Google this. What are the grounds for deportation for suspected terrorists in the United States? What are the grounds? What do they have to deport somebody that is suspected of terrorism or an affiliation with a terrorist group?
Yeah, hearing in an immigration court and an order from a judge. There you go.
Oh, Google it. What is
I just
needed?
told-
What is
I
the-
just-
what is
I just told you.
Okay,
Hearing
so,
an
okay,
immigration
now whenever
court
you
and an
go in
order
front of
from a
that judge,
judge.
whenever you go in front of that judge, what are the grounds that you have to list for them to say yes or no on deportation? What are they?
Yeah. So the judge, using their interpretation in the hearing, has to determine if they're eligible for asylum. If they determine that they're not eligible for asylum, they then determine.
I didn't say anything about eligibility and asylum. I said if they were suspected of being a member or having affiliation with a terrorist organization, what are the grounds that the United States must have to carry out a deportation?
I'm telling you that right now.
Do we have to physically catch you, or can we have maybe conspiracy to commit? If you are
Wait,
arrested
can
for
we-
conspiracy
I have
to
a
commit
question.
terrorism,
I have a question. By the way, he wasn't even arrested for it because he wasn't charged with anything. You have to be charged with a crime to be arrested for a crime.
okay, good. So we deported him.
Now,
Let's say you bring him back.
Wait, can we agree?
Let's say you
Wait,
bring him
Tommy,
back, you
Tommy,
then
tell- I'm
charge
not
him
ready to
with
move
this
on from
and
what you just said.
deport him.
I'm not ready to move on from what you just said. Can we agree that whatever those grounds are, he didn't meet them, or else the Supreme Court wouldn't have ruled his deportation?
He
as illegal?
absolutely met them.
So
He
then why did
absolutely
the
met
Supreme
them.
Court say his removal was illegal, bud?
Because he skipped. Okay, so what they didn't say that there was no grounds for deportation. They said that he didn't have due process. Okay, so let's say, hold on. So let's say you bring him back.
That's what they mean when they said it was illegal. Was that there's no grounds
Okay,
for
so
what they did.
again, you're just pointing out what I just said, right? That's exactly what I just told you.
Can you tell me?
Then,
No, if they had grounds for deportation legally, then why does the Supreme Court say they didn't?
they obviously they felt like they had grounds when they deported him, right?
Oh,
But
facts
then
are
now
our
let's
feelings.
say-
The Supreme
hold
Court says
on,
otherwise.
Jesus, let me finish the question without rebutting the exact same thing over and over and over again, okay? So
You're gonna have to
with-
rebut it again, bro. I'm not gonna lie. See, the reason why I have a smile on my face right now is because it's just so funny seeing people deny reality. Like I'm not flustered. I'm not upset at all. I view this as you're entertaining the fuck out of me. You're like you're so fucking stupid, dude. It's like the Supreme Court said so. Like, where do we go from here? Like, this is like, I feel like, God, man, like the difference in like the grounds in this conversation, it's laughable. It's so,
Okay,
it's
so let me ask you
it's
this
fucking
then.
laughable. It's like, I have a ruling from the Supreme Court. You have, what? Like,
guy deported. Now let me ask you this.
I just don't know.
If he
It's
comes
like,
back, let's
I
say
feel
we
bad.
bring him back.
Am I doing something morally wrong here?
Look, let's say we bring him back. Let's say that you're right and his civil rights were violated. and he
Why
didn't
are
have
you
any
just
due
saying, let's
process.
say I'm right?
Hold on.
Tell me I'm
hold
right.
on.
Concede.
So let's bring him back. Let's say that, right? We bring him back, okay? And then the due process looks like this. Oh, well, Your Honor, he's a suspected member of an affiliated terrorist organization, and they're going to say, oh, okay, what's your proof? And they're going to say, well, if you look at his fingers, there's plenty of probable cause to believe what we're saying is the truth, and then they're going to deport him again. So basically, we've already saved ourselves millions of dollars of what now we have to bring this guy all the way back over here. Like, what? It makes no sense. The guy's an affiliated terrorist. He has no claim to American soil. We need to get this guy out of here. And you're like, oh, advocating for a terrorist? Like, what does that even look like? What if this guy was planning on doing things that are irreprimandable? Like, it makes no sense logically for you to say that you're this person of these beliefs of like sanctity and like all this safety and the democratic this and democratic that. But like you're saying, like, let's actively bring terrorists into the country.
I just want to ensure that you are arguing that it was actually totally justified for Trump to violate the Constitution. That's the conclusion of your argument, right?
The conclusion is I haven't looked into the case law, and I feel like if it is
Yeah, you have.
a situation where he violated someone's civil rights, then he'll be held liable for that.
Donald,
then I guess
yo,
it'll just be another day
Tommy,
in court, right?
Tommy, you have looked into the case law.
You showed me again. That's one document
From where?
that you just showed me. That's one
Where-
document.
Where does the document come from?
The Supreme Court. Didn't we already like go over the whole
Is there
document thing?
is there any court in America that trumps the Supreme Court?
No.
So what they say goes.
Sure.
Why would I need another document of what they say goes?
Do you know what an appeal is?
You can't appeal a Supreme Court decision.
So what you're saying is that one decision is final.
Yeah.
And that okay, so if that is the case, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not gonna,
like the only
I'm not gonna
way
say that I know.
the only way like that a Supreme Court decision can be appealed is if it's overturned by the Supreme Court.
Okay, so then there is a way for it to be overturned then, right?
Yeah, could you show me where the Supreme Court overturned it?
Okay then. I mean, maybe it hasn't happened yet. We don't know. Again, that's one of those things where I guess we'll have to wait, right?
Oh my God! How do we know if anything is illegal then? If you're just gonna say that you can't even determine the legality of an action, even if the Supreme Court makes a ruling on it, how do we know if like anything's illegal?
Okay, so again,
Like
based off
seriously,
of
like
everything.
listen to what I'm saying. If like you don't even accept rulings from the Supreme Court as like a final judgment on the legality of an action, how can we ever know if anything is illegal?
Look at all the things that have been turned over in the Supreme Court, so it's not uncommon to happen.
Oh, it
There are
actually
situations
is.
where things get overturned.
It
So
actually
you're
is.
arguing.
It actually
You're
is.
arguing. You're arguing. Oh, really? Did I can think of a huge abortion ban that just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
you
I
can
mean,
think of Roe v. Wade. Can you
it
think of
does
anything
happen.
else?
Not off the top of my head.
Right.
I can think of several instances where people have tried to overturn things such as the Second Amendment.
I just
that
want to
was
clarify. Or would you say
unsuccessful.
that like it's possible that like racial segregation is legal, and even though the Supreme Court ruled otherwise, we'll have to wait and see if they overturn it?
So, like, are we just going to take things to the extreme to where it's like makes sense either way, like
That's
logically?
that's your extreme, man. That's not mine. That's yours.
I didn't say anything about racism. You brought that out of the thin
No,
air.
I
Like,
brought
oh,
I brought up how it's like even when
let's
the
bring
Supreme Court
racism.
rules
We
on
started
something,
again. We started
we're
on
like, oh, I
Doge.
don't know.
We started on Doge. You immediately I guess you conceded on Doge, and then jumped straight into immigration, and then now we're like stick to one topic.
Dude, you're getting cooked.
Like, what about Doge? You never even mentioned anything about Doge. Do you feel like it's a good thing that we're exposing things such as people that aren't even born yet that are claiming like workman benefits and filing for unemployment?
I will be so happy to talk to you about Doge the moment you concede.
So I mean, again, we started on Doge, and you're the one that took it to immigration.
I guess the only way we're gonna go back is if you concede.
Yeah, no, that's not it's not gonna happen, man. I side with Trump on that.
So you side with the criminal over the Supreme Court.
If that's what you want to call it, sure.
So you're not for law and order.
I'm for right and wrong. Would you agree that not every law can be morally correct?
Yeah, I can agree.
Okay, so then there you go.
So you think he justifiably violated the Constitution?
Absolutely, by being a member of a terrorist organization.
I finally got one to say it. You know what, Tommy? I just gained a little bit of respect for you. And everyone's going to be like, oh, Dean, how? Why would you even say that? Because you finally fucking admitted that you think that Donald Trump can justifiably violate the backbone of this country. I have not been able to get a Trump supporter to say that yet. You're the first one. Mask is off. And these masks are going to continue to come off. And we are going to continue to see more and more Trump supporters be very upfront with how they feel. That is that they do think that Trump is a king that could justifiably do whatever the fuck he wants. And keep it up, man. I want you to say that to everyone you know. I want you to use this as your messaging. Trump is a king and can do whatever he wants, even if it's unconstitutional. Tell all of your MAGA brothers and sisters to go out and to say the same fucking thing. Why? Why do I want you to scream this as loud as you can? It's not going to go over for y'all well in the midterms or next presidential election. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, Trump's not even eligible to be a candidate, so it doesn't even really matter, right?
Oh,
The
but
truth
dude,
is,
like the
look
liberal
at where we're
populists
going
are
right
just
now.
going
We're
to
bringing-
slam
we're
him.
bringing back-
Dude,
we're
like
bringing
JD
back
Vance is going to get
manufacturing.
slammed if he's like the predecessor of a king, right?
Hey,
You know what I
let me
mean?
ask you a question. Do you remember whenever we first started talking and you asked me what I did for a living? Do you remember what it is that I do?
No.
Okay, so I own a roofing company and a manufacturing company of metal roofing shingles. And since all of these
Oh, you're
tariffs,
fucked.
I mean, no, absolutely not. Actually, I just spent 250 grand on a couple of presses and some dyeing equipment, and we're now like 3.5 months away from setting up in a warehouse to print our own steel here in America, like as far as stamping it out goes. And then we're sourcing all of our steel now from a company out of Arizona. So it's turned into an all around good ordeal. And also we're getting incentivized to do that. We're like the tax breaks look pretty healthy. So all in all, I would say that Trump's doing a lot of what he's doing is 100% helping. Look at companies like Modula, Toyota. Look at companies like Apple. Look at all of the billions of dollars that's being spent right now to better our manufacturing numbers. Like, it's ridiculous the amount of companies that are coming in and investing into the American market now, and it's all to overturn the tariffs, right?
Do you want to see some crazy shit? I'm so happy that I'm streaming off my computer today, so I could just kind of like show this to people. Let's see here. Manufacturing. Let's see here. Give me one.
Oh yeah, go. You can find whatever.
Okay.
Scour the internet and find
Sweet.
some bad readings, right? That's what we're gonna do. Find
No,
some.
I already have them. I'm just screenshotting them, bud. Perfect. Okay. And I'm actually gonna give you a source for this graph yourself, because you're probably gonna need it, because this graph I'm about to show you is not going to be pulling up all relevant information. You're going to have to go out there and do it on your own. I'll definitely explain to you like what this graph I'm about to show you is showing though. Investment.
Is it possible for me to like share my screen on my phone?
No, only I have the leisure of doing that since I'm on a computer. It's actually really nice though. I wish that they allowed phones to do it too, because I'll be doing this all
100%.
day.
Because I would love to go and I can log into all of my
Well-
accounts and show you what actual importation looks like.
Okay, so do you see this silly little graph in front of me?
Yeah.
Okay, can you guess what this graph is showing?
I mean, since we're talking about manufacturing, I'm gonna go with manufacturing.
Investment in American manufacturing. So we saw like if you'll direct your attention towards 2020 through 2022 and then 2024, approximately when the election occurred and then Biden left office, what we saw was a boom in investment into manufacturing. And then you'll actually see after the election, people know Trump's coming in, and then he's actually inaugurated. Investment into American manufacturing completely flatlined. Now, if you want to see like the X and Y axis and reference that this is adequate, go on Google, type in FRED, investment into American manufacturing. Isn't it funny how I have just proved everything you've said wrong?
Isn't it okay? So now think about this, right? You're saying, "Oh, this is Trump killing the manufacturing, like it was booming." No, people were scared of importation because they knew that Trump was fixing to get elected. So a lot of them went ahead and started investing in in-house manufacturing before he was elected president, so that whenever he became elected
No, they
president,
didn't. Look at
the
that.
transition into incoming
Look
manufacturing
at that.
was
Seriously, like this,
substantial.
even before Biden left office, after Trump won the election, like it went stagnant.
It's crazy. Right around the time Trump said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna run for president," and everyone was like, "Oh man, I better get my affairs in order before I have to pay these ridiculous tariffs that that nobody likes."
But
at this
that's just
current
not
time.
that's just not what the data that I'm showing you here is. Like, look at the
I mean, I don't
graph.
even know where you're getting that data from.
I told you. Go on Google, type in Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, FRED, investment into American manufacturing. You'll be able to see the X and Y axis as well as the source. I mean, this graph just proves what you're fucking saying. I love having facts on my side. It makes these debates easy as hell. Like, I'm like pretty tired right now, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm happy that you're here because the shit you're saying is so false. I don't even need to speak. I just get to show. I just get to show data. Nathan, thank you for the $20 over on PayPal. Thank you so much for the love, Nathan. That is so incredibly kind of you. Nathan says, I don't know how you manage to put up with this cold every day, but keep up the good work and keep fighting the good fight. That is incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much for the love, Nathan. Let's get 200 Nathan W's down below in the chat. Thank you so much, Nathan. As well as Chelsea, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo saying, when I debated
Yeah,
my
so I
down
found a
in immigration
completely different
recently.
graph than you. The one that I'm showing shows continued growth.
Sure, screenshot it and green screen it. Let's take a look.
I'll put a link in the chat.
Nah, screenshot it and green screen it. You could do that.
How do I do that?
By screenshotting it, turning your camera on, going to effects, clicking on green screen, and then hitting the picture of the graph in your camera roll. Then also Tina, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Tina, Chelsea, and Nathan. If you're watching and you like to support me, support the stream. All you got to do is, or what you can do is you could support me over Venmo and PayPal right here at the top of the phone screen. Quite frankly, Mr. Tommy. And additionally, if you don't have camera access, just tell me what to look up. I'll find it. Yeah, you won't have camera access. I can't hear you if you can't see me. Look at these numbers.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I can.
No worries. You can't even turn your camera on. Just tell me what the title is, like what the website is, what the title is. I'll find it on my end, and I'll show it.
Okay, cool. Let me go do that right now.
Cool. After this, we're going to end, by the way. Oh, man. This guy's pretty annoying.
I mean, you literally just Google the same thing that I did. I just Googled current manufacturing investment chart.
Okay. Then what website did you get this chart from?
I just click on images.
Click on images, and then what was the source for the image?
All right, let me look.
The first image that pops up is September of 2023 under Biden and Harris. Oh, guys, this is about to be brutal. I feel bad. I feel bad for him. If he's looking at the same images I am, I'm seeing September of 2023. The next image that shows a boom is investment into U.S. factories has soared since 2022. Oh, no.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of them on there. I just scrolled down the whole list for several of them.
Yeah, you should give us the source for one of them. I don't think you
Just
will.
click on any of them. Click on any of them, the current dates. Just look for 2025.
No, man. You have to give me the specific source you got for your claim.
But you literally haven't even rebutted Doge yet.
Oh, well, dude, okay. So be honest. You went on pause, you looked at the images, you saw it was all 2022 and 2023 under Biden and Harris, and now you want to pivot. Be honest, you're not going to give me a specific source for a chart that would indicate that investment in manufacturing has boomed since Trump was inaugurated, like you claimed, because it doesn't exist, and the sources that you did see were literally under Biden and Harris.
So you're saying there's not a single chart on there that shows current 2025, or is it more logical that you're lazy and you decided to only look at the first couple and not continue to look down the list?
Yeah, everything I see is
okay. Cool. Now try to rebut.
And then the ones that are from 2025
the whole
show
time
stagnation.
You've completely avoided Doge because you know that you're cooked. Like there's nothing that you can say other than absolutely there's a bunch of crap going on that we needed to get rid of, and Trump was the only president in human history to achieve that.
Dude, this is pathetic. What's really pathetic is that no. What's pathetic is that I literally just told the chat that you were gonna not give us a source for the graph that you claimed because you went back to Google and you looked at.
And I literally just told the chat that you would not rebut the facts, and
I told the chat that you would not give us a source for the claim that you made of manufacturing booming since Trump's inauguration because the claim doesn't exist. And when you searched up current manufacturing investment chart on Google and you looked at the images, you saw everything was under Biden and Harris. Like you can't just continue to say, you can't just continue to say back to Doge. Like I want to make it clear, you're the one that made the claim about investment into manufacturing. I didn't even start this conversation.
Okay, I'll give you a.
Tommy, stop talking. Let me speak.
I'll give you the
Don't
source, and then we'll go back to
stop. I need to make you look silly. You're telling me that I'm scared to debate you on Doge. That's why I want to keep talking about the thing that we're talking about right now. This conversation started by you claiming that he was good for investment into manufacturing. Like this is
I'm
you.
literally
You
in
started this
manufacturing.
conversation.
Like I own a
Yes,
business
I know.
in
I
manufacturing.
know. That's how this conversation started. Was by you talking about your business, saying that Donald Trump has been able to secure so much investment into American manufacturing.
And you had nothing to say, so you pivoted away from the facts of what I said.
I
And you
didn't.
tried to
I showed
completely
you. I
different
showed you.
argument.
No, stop. I showed you a graph demonstrating that investment in manufacturing has went stagnant since his inauguration, and I gave you my source. You then said that you had a source to show that is not went stagnant and it has boomed since his inauguration, and you haven't given it to us.
Okay, cool. Google Apple's investment in
Not micro, macro. Not micro, macro.
You don't have a source. You don't have a source.
Yeah, you don't have a source for micro level
so
business
there we go.
investment.
We just got past that. Now, what is your rebut to Doge?
No, you didn't get past that. No, you didn't at all. Okay. Of course, Trump is going to highlight the very few wins that he gets with business investment since he's been taking so many losses. You cannot combat a source describing in macro level data insofar as business investment in America by indicating one micro level claim, which, by the way, was never made. Okay. Apple never actually invested that money. They also made that same promise in the last two inaugurations, but that's neither here nor there because this is not macro level data. Okay. Imagine that you made the claim that, in the last election, so many more people registered as Republican than Democrat in the state of California. And then I was like, I'm going to disprove you by indicating to you my friend Fred that registered as a Democrat. Okay. You made the claim that it was an overwhelming amount of people that have registered Republican, not that nobody registered Democrat. So my micro representation of one person that registered blue doesn't trump your macro level data of looking at all new registered voters. So you saying, this one company invested this much money that was actually demonstrably false, even if that is true, that still doesn't combat my claim that investment in manufacturing on the macro level has gone stagnant. Okay? Like even like the graph that I showed you, like look at this. Like it went stagnant. It didn't go to zero. Like there's still like billions and billions and billions and billions, like $120 billion every quarter being invested.
It doesn't
into
even have
American,
2025 on there.
into American manufacturing. All right, but like it is the case.
It literally stopped at 24.
No, it stops at the first quarter of 25.
2024, buddy.
Okay, do I need a screenshot?
Where's 2025 at?
Yeah, it's at the end of the graph.
Okay, cool. Let me see it.
For sure. Fair request, man. You got it. Boom, image, settings. Dude, this motherfucker.
Show the whole graph. Show everything. Show what it says on each Y and X axis. I want to see it. I want to see the whole graph.
Because of the aspect ratio of TikTok, I literally can't do that. But there's
That doesn't even show a date, buddy.
It does.
Q1 2025. So that's the beginning of 2025.
Yeah, it's the first 4 months. We just left quarter
I
one.
can't see anything on the bottom. How do I know that's not just ending at 2024? The end of 2024 in January of 2025. It says Q1, like the first quarter. But where? Show me the graph, dude? Like all you're showing me is literally it's right now the way that I see it is it's ending at 2025.
So it's ending with the first quarter of 2025, the first 3 months of 2025.
Okay, so then you should have no problem zooming out and screenshotting the whole graph, right?
I do have a problem with that being that it doesn't fit in the aspect ratio of TikTok. What
if you zoomed out?
It'll just be like infinitesimally small. Like I mean I've repeated where you like do you want me to? Like do you want me to demonstrate to you that what I'm saying is like true?
Well, I want to see where it shows 2025 on the graph, like as far as like on the bottom, so that we can't see where if it's just ending at the end of 2024 and the very beginning of 2025.
I'll screenshot. It actually says 2025 on the graph, so good call. But I'm gonna screenshot like the entirety.
How do I know that it's not ending at the end of 2024 and it's January of 2025?
Because the first quarter of 2025.
And then we're only in the first quarter of the presidency.
I just told you why we know that because like Q1 of 2025 does not end in December of 2024.
How many people do you know in manufacturing?
Why are you pivoting?
It's not. It's not a pivot. It's
Wait,
it's
Tommy.
literally going to land.
Tommy,
the
you
plane.
said that you're a business owner. Do you pay taxes quarterly?
Yes.
When did you pay taxes for quarter one of 2025?
I pay.
Did
As
you
a
pay
matter of
them in
fact,
December
my
of last year?
CPA does all of it.
So
My
di-
CPA sends me a bill. My office takes care of it. It's
Yeah,
pretty
no-
simple stuff.
Yeah, no fucking shit. That's how it happens, or else you'd know that quarter one of 2025 is not in 2024. Why would that makes no fucking sense, dude? Come on.
Again, it's saying Q1. It looks like it's deading up. The very end of the graph is Q1, which means that the very next following quarter would be 2025.
No, Q1 is in 2025. It's the first 3
It's
months of
saying
2025.
start point, end point. So you have a start point on. So okay,
Good,
now
that's
where's
what
the
I'm
start
saying.
point? Again, perfect. Well, my exact point is it ends directly into 2025, and there is not even a single bit past 2025. So what you're saying is ridiculous. The graph that you just showed me right now ends on 2025.
Okay,
It doesn't even
so
have a
so
quarter.
the
Where
Indy
show me where the line passes 2025, bud.
so
It doesn't. It
so
ends at
so the
2025.
so the last point of data on the graph is the first financial quarter of 2025.
It's so funny. It's so funny how you were just saying, oh, all of these graphs that you're showing and the dates, and then yours is literally like ridiculous. Isn't that crazy?
Tommy, okay, well, if I speak, will you listen to me?
I just listened to you speak and then blow up
So
how this graph shows all of this stuff,
so
and
Tommy,
it ends at 2025.
So this is quarter one of 2025. The very last
Okay, now
data
here's what I
point.
want you to do.
No,
Break.
you listen to me. So the first,
No,
hey
break it up
Tommy,
into 4 sections.
be a good boy and listen to me. Be a good boy and
Show
listen
me
to
how
me.
it passed.
Tommy, I'm literally trying to
Show me the
describe it to you
first
right
quarter
now.
in 2025.
I am right. Actually, that's on your phone screen right now. If you allow me to speak, the last point of data on this graph, as shown on screen right now, is the first financial quarter of 2025. Okay? Now, what does Q1 of 2025 represent? What is that?
I
100?
believe-
No,
I
no, no,
believe that's
Tommy,
the end
shut
point
up,
of
shut
the
up,
graph.
shut up, shut up, shut up. So, what does Q1 2025 represent? So, this represents the
The
first.
end point.
No. This represents the first financial quarter of this year. Okay.
No, it represents.
So
In
what
on.
is Q1 of 2025? That is January 2025 through March 2025. January to March 31st. Okay? So in other words, what it's saying is that from January to March 31st of the first
Hold on.
financial quarter
Hold
of
on.
2025.
How many months make a quarter of a year, bud? How many months make a quarter of the year, pal?
3.
3 months make a quarter of a year. Okay. Now,
Thomas.
show me where the
Oh
3
my
months is past. Listen to me. So 3 months would initially show a break in the line, which means that the line would extend past 2025 3 months, right? It wouldn't just end at 3. There would be a quarter of a line, the same way as you have a gas tank on the bottom. It would say a little extension where it would be past 2025. Your graph does not show that.
So that's
your graph shows what an end
so
point
it'll only
of 2025 would be.
It'll only show that once we get
Which means that
quarter-
the last, which would mean that the last organization is complete shit, and it was extending, and then
So
it
we
stopped.
won't have that endpoint until we get the data in from quarter 2 of 2025.
Okay, perfect. So then I want to see a graph that shows that data, and then not what they assume data would be.
Wait, that's not an assumption because that was the data
How
collected.
do we know?
Because
First
that
of all,
was
it
the
doesn't even
data.
extend past
That was
2025.
the data collected on March 31st from the last 3 months.
So then it should show that on the graph. Where does it show March 31st?
Because it says Q1 20. Like, do you want me? Look, go on Google, type in Q1 2025 definition. It'll say January 1st through March 31st.
Okay, and that's the end point of the graph. How
Yeah,
are
so
you?
so
like,
the last
how are you not seeing
the
it?
last date on the graph that is represented is March
I'm gonna
31st,
Google it for you right
2025. This guy oh my god. And for everybody that thinks that the last date on the graph is January 1st of 2025, why would have there been $147 billion invested in one day when that is the same amount of money that was invested in the last quarter? Dude. Oh, this guy's an idiot. So everybody that's saying I'm wrong, you're also an idiot. Like, oh god, I'm not even debating right now. I'm teaching.
Literally, it hasn't even been released yet, dude. Like every single graph shows 2025 as the endpoint. Every single one of them. And I'm gonna give you another one right now that you can look up yourself.
Yeah, it shows Q1 of 2025 as the endpoint. That's right. But that doesn't like represent like the December 31st, 2024. That represents March 31st, 2025. Because it calculates it by financial quarter.
Right, and that the quarter is not shown on the graph that you just showed.
I literally showed you an image that
He's literally only been in office for 1 quarter.
Wait,
so all of that stagnation that you show was the end of the quarter of 2024.
Yeah, it was because Trump won the election. You're right.
Okay, so you're showing stagnation on somebody else's term. That's not Donald Trump's term. He's only has 1 quarter in.
Yeah, it's
So
stagnation.
it would literally be unreadable on the graph, and you're just showing this of like, oh, this is a gotcha moment.
Hey,
whenever the truth
can you
is,
read
the amount would not even be readable.
Can you read that text?
Yes.
Read it right now.
I also saw the whole.
I'm not
graph,
even. I'm not even
so that was
joking.
the end
I'm
point.
not even joking. Read that. Read that.
Q1 2025 147.4545.
What does Q1 2025 mean?
The end point.
No, like literally define Q1 2025, not in reference to the chart, just like in reference to finance. Like,
Let me ask you this: you know what a period
no,
is?
No. Define Q1 2025.
That's the period. That's in layman's terms, just to dumb it down for you. That's the period of the chart.
And what is?
That's where the data ends.
Hey! What does Q1 2025 mean in finance and business?
Quarter
What does it
one.
mean? Okay, and what does Q1 of 2025 represent?
The end point of that graph.
No, not in reference to the graph, just in reference
Hey,
to
buddy,
finance.
do you have a low IQ?
Sir, you're the idiot, not me, and you're supposed to be. The
I mean,
business
you're
owner.
literally trying.
Like, and now, what does the first quarter of 2025 represent?
You're trying to push this propaganda again. That the graph shows a clear.
Hey, what is the first
it has
quarter?
No,
Hey.
It has no past. Why don't you look that up? Why don't you look up the first quarter of 2025 manufacturing growth? Why don't you look that up?
You just saw it.
No, I didn't. I saw an endpoint.
What you saw the?
If what you're saying,
what the
if what you're
fuck?
saying is the truth, then you should have no reason to finding that data. Then, right?
I just showed you that data.
You showed me one source that shows the stagnation of data between the last quarter of 2024.
In 2025.
No,
Yeah,
it doesn't. I don't agree with your
What?
findings there.
bro. Okay.
That would get thrown out of court immediately.
What the fuck? Okay, we're gonna do this then. Okay, watch this. I really
Let
want to.
me kind of dumb it down for you. If I were to take my taxes to my CPA and he said, "Okay, what is this data?" and I would say, "Okay, this is the last
Okay,
quarter of
we're gonna
2024."
we're
He would
just
say,
straight up-
"Okay, hold on,
we're just
stop."
straight
He
up
would
gonna
say,
see if
"Okay,
this guy can
where
read.
does this data start? Where does this data end?" I would say, "Okay, this data starts at the last period of 2023 to the very first period of 2024." That way we can gauge exactly what year taxes that I'm paying. Does that make sense? That's exactly what you're showing me on that graph. It's a start and a finish. It doesn't even show anything
We're
in.
gonna just see if this guy can read.
You can't.
Don't worry, I'm gonna make it bigger.
You're showing me the same fucking thing, dude, over and over again.
Can you read?
So you're not going to show. So you're not going to show
Hey,
anything.
Hey,
that,
go
that
ahead.
backs that.
Go ahead and interpret this data. go ahead and interpret this data for me real quick. Can you?
Yeah, that's the end point. That's the end of the
can you-
2024 season into the 2025.
Wait, but that's not what the screenshot below shows.
I mean, again, you zoomed in and clicked a point on the map. What is that point that you clicked on the map? That would be the start of 2025.
Well, it'd actually be
And
January
if
1st
it
to March
was,
1st.
and let's say that it was.
Wait. Okay,
quarter 21,
can I
then
try
why
to?
would it not? Why would it end at 2025?
Can I try? Okay. So Q1 of 2025 will be the end point of this graph until Q2 of 2025 hits. I mean, think about it. Before Q1 of 2025.
And then it'll show the data.
Tommy.
And then it'll show the data, right?
Wait,
Of
wait,
Q1.
no,
Where's the data shown of Q1?
listen.
It's not.
Can you read?
Okay, I'm gonna give you a source for Q1.
Tommy. What the fuck? That is the date of Q1. Okay. So look at the bottom screenshot. So this bottom screenshot, Tommy, I just want you to listen to me. This bottom screenshot right here.
There's the link, buddy.
No. Listen to me. The bottom screenshot says Q1 of 2025 is January 1st through March 1st. Okay? So we're going to replace that phrase, Q1 of 2025, with its definition. Okay? No. Tommy, listen to me. Are you listening to me?
My data does not
Hey,
align with your data.
Tommy, can you listen to me real quick? Okay, I want you to prove me wrong. So down here, no, Tommy, listen to me. Tommy, listen to what I have to say here. Just hear me out, bud. So down here on the bottom screenshot that you can see on TikTok, defines Q1 of 2025 as January 1st to March 31st. Okay, it's a period of 3 months. Okay, think about a quarter. What does a quarter mean? 25%. Okay, it's a quarter of a year, so it's 25% of a year. 3 months. There we go. Q1 of 2025. No, stop. Shut the fuck up, Tommy. So Q1 of 2025 is the first 3 months of 2025. What are the first 3 months of 2025? Let's refer back to kindergarten. Okay, January, February, March. Okay, so that is why.
Click back half with click.
Okay, so this is why it says that Q1 of 2025 is January 1st through March 31st of 2025. So
Okay, now move
So now,
back.
no. I'm almost done explaining, Tommy. So, but then when we reference the screenshot up here, okay, when we reference the screenshot up here, it says Q1 2025. Well, let's go ahead and just replace that term there, that silly little term that's really hard for you to understand, Q1 2025, with the definition of it, which is just January 1st through March 31st, 2025. Okay, well, all of a sudden now we know is that business investment into American manufacturing went stagnant in January 1st to March 31st of this year.
Now move the dot back 1 dot length.
Sure, it's just going to give you the data of Q4 2024. Do you want
Oh, for what you're that's crazy. So then find
Why-
the spacing of hold on, now listen, hold on, hear me
that?
out on
Why
this.
is that crazy? Dude, that's what?
Hear me out.
What? The quarter directly following the first quarter of
Hear me out, dude.
2025 is the last quarter of 2024? Yes.
Now hear me out, hear me
Q4 becomes
out.
before Q1. What?
Now, then find the spacing for how wide 1 quarter is, where it says Q4 of 2024.
It's 3 months.
To how wide the spacing would be to Q3.
It's 3 months.
Okay, no, I understand that, right? But show me how wide that spacing would be on that graph,
Like
so that I can
like,
show you exactly what I'm saying. Because I feel like
on
you're
your
not understanding
like on your
what I'm telling you.
screen.
Like on the screen that pull that graph back up.
Why does that?
Pull the graph up. No, because I want to prove to you what I'm saying right now. I'm going to prove it to you without a reasonable doubt.
Chat.
I'm going to prove to you.
Chat. Should we buy
You
it?
don't want to because you know what I'm saying is going to prove you wrong.
I don't know what you're saying. Chat.
Okay, so
okay.
for
Okay. Let
instance-
me get it. Let me get it. 1 second. 1 second. Let me get it. Let me get it.
All you have to do is find out how long or how wide
Let's buy it real quick.
1 quarter would be.
Yo,
That's all you have to do.
Well, we know that 1 quarter is 3 months.
I'm talking about on the graph, dude. Like the physical length between Q3 and Q4.
Like the stylistic,
spacing.
like the literal stylistic choice of the people that made the graph.
No, as in like how wide is 1 quarter? How wide is 1 quarter? I know you understand what I'm telling you.
So
You just don't wanna do it because it proves you wrong.
Data points don't have width.
Click back. Click back until you see Q3.
Why not Q4?
Okay, click back until you see Q4.
Did you mean to say Q4?
I mean, I know that as soon as you click back 1 ball space
I got
or 1 point space, it's going to be Q4, right? What I'm trying to prove to you, look, exactly what I was saying. Now keep going backwards until you see Q3.
Dude, it takes me like a billion years to do this. Like, why don't you just make your point with this one image?
Because that's exactly the point of at 2025, you would see that particular amount of space past 2025 to reflect 2025's first quarter. But you don't see that because it's not been inputted in that particular graph. All you're showing is Q4.
I see the issue. I see the issue. I see the issue. I am now a third grade teacher. I'm not even joking. This is sad.
I mean, you literally you can't. I just proved
let
it to
me
you.
let
and
me
you're
let me
still
let
trying to
me
prove
don't
that
worry.
you're right when
Don't
I
worry.
just
Let me
proved you wrong.
let me get my notepad.
I literally just
Okay.
cooked you.
All right. So here's my notepad. I even have the infamous TikTok. Get out of there. And then I have a pin too. Look at that.
It's funny how you can't prove me wrong on the graph.
So I'm going to.
I just used your own graph and cooked you, bud.
I'm gonna make a graph on here. So okay, you and me, Tommy, we are in stats, okay, and we want to learn how to plot data on a graph, okay, and we want to represent this data as points, okay. But now we need to have an x and y axis. So we're gonna draw the y axis here. Let me get the y axis drawn. This pin is out. Let's try the green one. There we go. That green one is much better. It's actually maybe even worse. These are shitty pins, I guess. But doesn't matter because we will persevere with the shit pins. We now have an x axis and a y axis. Can you see that?
That's right.
Okay, so you could see the x and y axis. I don't know why the pins are so shitty. Let me try to find a better one. Okay, all the pins suck.
They're probably made in China.
They were probably quality checked by someone a lot like you, Tommy.
That's right.
Let's see here. Does a blue pin work?
It's just crazy to me how you could literally pull up the graph.
Okay.
And you click back one single click and it was 2024, and then you click back like 10 or 15 clicks and it was still 2024.
Okay, so do we see
like Q4? So that just proves my point. Whatever you're fixing to show, it just
do we see the x and the y axis here?
yes. I've been seeing the x and y axis.
Okay, so now we're gonna make some points along the y axis to denote a monetary value amount. So let's go in intervals of what? $5 billion for simplicity?
Sure.
Okay. So we're going to go from 5 to 10 to 15 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 60 to 70 to 80 to 90. Okay. So I just did some marks on there. I don't know if you could see them that well. Okay. And then down here,
I understand how.
Then down
how
here,
this works.
we want to do time, right? So we'll do 2020. We'll do 2022. 2024, and then 2026. Okay, so then we got our dates down there, and now we're just gonna start plotting random data for all of these financial quarters, right? Okay, but the summation of this is going to be a cutoff for the data representing the first quarter of 2025. Okay.
Which would mean that you have an obvious end date, right? So what you're saying is that 2026 would be the very last point on the graph, right?
Wait. So now we have these plots of
proved my
data
point again.
represented on this graph. And at the end of the graph, we have a dot on the end date. Okay, right? But because all of these dots are tracking financial quarters, quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four of all of these years, okay, we could agree first that this last dot is going to be representing a financial quarter, right?
Yep, and it would be the last quarter of that calendar year, which would be 2026 reflected, right?
Actually wrong. It's not going to be the last quarter of the last calendar year. It's going to be the very first quarter of 2025. That's why when you look at the bottom of the graph, that last dot is after the start of 2025. See? So like here's
No, I don't see.
here's the dot representing the first quarter of 2025 on this line representing the end of the graph, right? If we had
Okay, and then hold on.
if
And then
we
let's
had to, if
clarify.
we had to
And on
do
your
another
graph-
line
hold
to
on,
represent the
hold
start
on.
of
On your
2025,
graph-
it would be
on your
before
graph,
that line.
2026 is the end, right?
So on the Fred graph, yeah,
On the
well,
graph
like,
that you just showed me, 2026,
well,
right?
the end of this
So then
graph
sure
is
you can see
represented.
2025, but you can't see 2026, right?
So you what?
Can the end date on your graph that you just drew is 2026, correct?
Yeah, but the end date of the
Okay,
data
so
is the
then why
first
can't
quarter
you
of
show me
2025.
data? So then why can't you show me data from 2026? Because it would be
Because
the
it hasn't
end point,
happened
right?
yet.
Oh, that's crazy. So when they now look at the date in which that particular graph was published,
So
that
this,
you just showed
oh,
me
for sure.
with
So
the
this,
endpoint.
so
Show
this,
me where
so
it
this,
was published.
this was published on May 18th, 2025.
May 18th,
Wait,
2025.
Wait, actually no, that's
Show
just
me
my
that.
citation for my access. I'm stupid. So it looks like this was published. It's I don't know. Looks like probably this most recent data point was added at March 31st. Because that's
You can assume that, but I want to see where it says that. Let me see a
Well-
date on that graph where it says it was published, because it seems like it was published maybe after the last quarter of 2024.
then why would it show data for the first quarter of 2025?
It doesn't. It doesn't. That's the end point. I just established that. That's why there's not a gap past 2025 with an additional part of the line showing where it would be the first quarter. That's not how graphs work. Graphs have an obvious start and an obvious
Wait,
stop.
but the obvious end is just a data point.
For instance, if a graph goes to 1 to 10, there's not an 11 map point on that particular graph. It would be capped out at 10.
Okay, I want you to explain the issue here to me.
I just did.
So-
You're
so this
taking
represents-
this. You see where it says 2025? You
Yeah.
see how there's like a section that's behind 2025? That would be indicative of one quarter. Now, why is there no spacing past 2025 to show the first quarter? It ends
Because
at 2025.
Because listen, because the data isn't represented by space, it's represented by a point.
Okay, but in order for there to be a point, there has to be the space on a graph. You don't just get to say, "Oh, there's a point on this graph that doesn't exist." If the
No,
point doesn't exist on the graph, you can't graph it.
You
That's
don't.
how a graph works.
So they wouldn't put space after this point because you see how the space is filled.
Because
by
it's not
lines?
indicative of the
No.
findings of that particular graph. That graph
What
is
the
charting
fuck is going
information
on?
and data pre-2025.
It's not because it's the first point of 2025.
Dude, I just proved it to you over and over again.
No, you didn't. Why are you
Okay.
trying to gaslight me?
Click on the graph again. Click on the graph again and do one click back.
I already did that. It showed the last quarter
And
of
it's
last year.
2024. Crazy. And then how many clicks past that did you click still?
Hey, wait, you understand?
Several, right?
So
that
okay.
would show you the space that you're saying doesn't exist. That would
Hey,
be that
hey,
space.
Okay,
that
I have,
you're
an,
missing.
I have an idea, you absolute dumbass.
Dude, you're fucking retarded. You literally don't even
and there
know
it goes.
how to read a graph.
I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. Like this isn't. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. Bruh. By the way, for all those that are late tuning in, he was trying to convince me that quarter one of 2025 on this graph was not quarter one of 2025. I'm gonna ball. I'm just kind of like reconsidering my life choices at this point. The end date of that graph was March 31st, 2025. I'm just like I don't think I've ever had a debate make me reconsider my life choices this much. What? You just said that Tommy was right?
Yeah, I mean, I think in particular that graph, there's a good chance that graph was published like 2, 3, 4 weeks into quarter one. Like, given the way that the graph is drawn, it absolutely looks that way.
How?
Because the date, so when he was saying click back, he's trying to show the space in between quarter one and quarter four, the space in between quarter four and quarter three,
Okay.
and how that space doesn't exist.
Let
in
me
this
ask you a
graph.
question. Does that space
Right.
represent data?
That space would be the line that would represent data.
No. No. That space doesn't represent data at all. Okay? That space is a connector between the data.
Yeah, but the space allows a line to be drawn
To connect the data. So in order to have that space, that line, you have to connect how many data points?
2.
2. Is there a data
Right.
point after the first quarter of 2025?
No.
Why isn't there? Because the second quarter hasn't finished yet, right?
Right.
So why would there be a line after the first quarter if there's not 2 data points
Okay.
to connect?
What I'm saying is, how come that graph, like, what is making it impossible for that graph to have been published 2 weeks into quarter one?
Because
What is telling you that?
Because then we wouldn't have the quarter one data. Because quarter
The
one
quarter
is
one data, it would be published in 3 weeks
because
of quarter one and
no.
not be completed data.
No. Quarter one, definitionally speaking, is January 1st
Is 3 months.
through
I know.
March through 31st.
I know. What I'm saying is that graph isn't a complete finish of quarter one.
Okay.
It is only for the first
Then-
3
then
weeks.
gi- then give me your
There's
evidence.
nothing on that graph that tells you it's. My evidence is that there's nothing on the graph that tells you otherwise.
Yes,
other
there
than
is.
It says quarter one.
Yes, there is.
It says
There is
quarter
something.
one. It
Wait.
doesn't
There
say
is something. There is something on the graph that tells you otherwise. You
I'll
absolute idiot.
Okay,
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Is there something on this graph that tells me otherwise? Ha! Let me see. Let me look really closely here. Let me just get a really good look at this graph. Let me get a really close look at this graph to see if there's anything that tells me otherwise. Let me just get an even closer look. Let me dot my I's and cross my T's just to ensure that there's something on this graph that tells me otherwise. Wow. Look at, there might just be something on this graph that tells me otherwise, man. There might just be. There really truly might just be. Yeah, like let me see here. Quarter one of 2025 is January 1st to March 31st. Now let's look at the graph. Let's look at it together. What does that say? That says Q1. What does that mean? What the fuck does Q1 mean? Might Q1 mean quarter one? Oh my god, what? Okay, so we know it's quarter one. Now of what year? Well, it says that too. It says 2025. So it's the first quarter of 2025. Oh, but what does that mean? What the good thing I have a description of what it means right under what it says. Wow. Quarter one of 2025 is January 1st through March 31st. Holy fuck. I hate it here. You make me reconsider my life choices. Like I have these political disagreements. Shut the fuck up. I have these political disagreements with people all day long. And you know, here I am thinking that like maybe like you're not an absolute idiot. You just like have this sense of loyalty to your political party that you're unwavering in. Okay? Like maybe the politics is what obfuscates your perspective here. And that's why you come up here saying the most stupid shit ever. But what's political about this? There's nothing like inherently political about this like all. It's just we have a scatter plot with data on that scatter plot with lines to connect the data. And the most recent data point on the scatter plot is from the first quarter of this year, and that means January 1st through March 31st. Why are you so stupid?
Respectfully, Dean, two things. One, what I was trying to say is that this says quarter one, which says January 1st to March 31st, but it does not say that it is, there's nothing that says it can't be published within the first 3 weeks of quarter one. It doesn't say that it can't be. It doesn't say that it's not, right?
How many weeks are we into quarter two?
I don't know.
More
What
than
I'm saying is this
3.
graph is
Why
old.
isn't there any quarter two data?
And another thing is respectfully.
No.
I will debate for- I can debate for 3 hours.
No. We are more than 3 weeks into quarter two. Why is there not any quarter two data if they publish it at 3 weeks?
Has that, you're saying that company hasn't? Okay, I'm saying 3 weeks as like a hypothetical. Maybe it's 4 weeks, maybe it's 5 weeks. What I'm saying is it's published in the middle of quarter one. I'm not even saying that. What I'm saying is there's a chance there is because it doesn't tell you it's not published within the first 5 weeks.
It wasn't on the website until the quarter ended.
Is that verifiable? Like, how
Yes.
do you
Yes, the verification is that there's no data from quarter two. And there won't be data for quarter two until quarter two ends.
You don't think like 1 month into quarter two, maybe 2 months into quarter two, we won't have any data?
No, because they don't publish it until the quarter ends.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's all that needed to be said was like to convince people. And another thing also, I think most people who are calling me and Tommy like really stupid in the chat
You
actually
are.
have no idea. I might be, but I don't think anybody in the chat who's calling us stupid have any idea what the graph even is. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, buddy.
Many of
Yeah,
them do.
you
Many of
got
them do,
you
but
got
a lot
you
of
got
them
trite you got quite the ladder to climb here, convincing me that you have intellectual high ground over the people in the chat. When you're coming up here telling me that the most recent point on this scatter plot is not representative of the first 3 months worth of investment into American manufacturing, you have quite the intellectual hill to climb, man.
You don't think some of them agree to you because you're Dean?
Everybody should agree to me because their third grade teacher
Because I'm
told them
Dean.
to.
I love that.
No. Because their third grade fucking teacher told them to. Leave my life. Leave it. Never come back. I can't. I can't. Brianna, thank you so much for the $50 over on PayPal. Everybody, please show some love to Brianna down below in that chat. Thank you so much for the love, Brianna. Brianna says, get off, take a break, and spend time with a girlfriend. Take care of yourself. We love you. Yeah, I'm ending. As soon as I'm done reading these donos. Let's get at least 500 Brianna W's. Also, Courtney, thank you so much for the $10 over on PayPal. And Sid, thank you so much for the $45 as well. Thank you, Sid. Sid says, oh my God, my Snap memories just told me I've been watching you and Parker for a year now. Holy fuck, Sid. That's awesome. W Sid in the chat. Are you kidding? That is so cool. That is cool. That is so cool. And then also Christina, thank you for the $1. Thank you so much, Christina. And then also Justin, thank you for the $10 on Venmo. TAK with the $10 on Venmo 10 minutes ago. And then John with the $10 on Venmo. Carrie with the $10 on Venmo. And then Chelsea with the $10 on Venmo as well, guys. Thank you all so much for the love. Thank you all so much for the love. You guys are awesome. Guys, I could say 2 + 2 is 4 to these people. And they'd tell me I'm wrong and call me an idiot. And then they'd say the only reason you guys disagree and think that 2 + 2 is 4 is because you're a fan of Dean. Oh no. I'm sorry. This is probably one of the worst crash outs you guys have seen me undergo. Because it's just, there's nothing controversial about fucking scatter plots. I'm ending. I love y'all. I'll see you tomorrow. Go find somebody to show some love to. I'm out. I'm done for the night. I'm defeated. They finally defeated me. They finally did me in. They finally did me in, chat. They finally did me in. See you tomorrow. Peace and love. Take care. For everyone on YouTube, I'm out. Peace and love. See you tomorrow. Take care.